Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the amazing X-Men rewatch series where me and Kyle Entertainment are rewatching the first three X-Men movies, which are called X-Men, X2, and X-Men The Last Stand. Go ahead, Kyle, say something.
No,
Do they actually use that song in these movies? I don't even remember.
oh,
Oh,
I
okay.
think there's they do the thing where they play the beginning, that's called like a musical motif or something. I
Right,
feel
right.
like in the main theme there is a little bit of it, but not
Okay.
too much. Because that's from that great cartoon neither one of us have watched, but we're going to talk about that in a second.
Oh
Now,
boy.
note, audience, that EliteAri just called this a review series, confirming that we are doing more. That's fantastic, EliteAri. I'm so excited.
I don't even know if I said that, but okay, true.
You did.
So Kyle, what are
We'll
you?
talk about that
What's
at the end.
Yes, please. What's your history with the X-Men series?
Oh my god, what a great place to start, Illyria. I'm glad I gave you that idea. Now,
Mm,
X-Men EliteAri, I have next to zero history. Growing up, EliteAri, everybody has their superhero, the one that they like.
mm.
And mine was Spider-Man EliteAri, because I'm
Okay.
cool and I like blue and red, and because I used to have the DVDs or something. And my dad used to like the 2000 Spider-Man's movies. And EliteAri, I was born in the great 2001, greatest year of all time. Oh no! They censored my great fly a plane into a building. That's the year I was born joke.
Yep.
Anyway, I was just making fun of people saying if you were born if you saw the first X-Men movie in the theater, you're an old man and you're gonna die
Mm,
soon. I
yep.
didn't. I wasn't even born yet.
All right.
My mother wasn't even impregnated yet. Now, what was the question? Oh yeah, I watched Spider-Man. So I used to have DVDs of the '90s Spider-Man cartoon. Leary.
Mm-hmm.
None of the episodes with the shitty X-Men in it, so I didn't even have a connection to that. But I know a lot of people like that set in 1990s X-Men stuff. I ain't never seen it. I ain't
Mm-hmm.
never read a comic. Actually, I watched the first episode of that '90s Spider. What do you call it? X-Men Leary. That's what we're reviewing. X-Men cartoon when I was like 14. So way after I was a kid. This was when I was watching a bunch of anime on Kiss Anime. Of course, there was the great Kiss cartoon, where it was
Mm-hmm.
just Kiss Anime, but for cartoons. And I was like, oh, people like this X-Men stuff. That was when I was getting into, the superhero movies, Leary. The MCU was coming out. So I was like,
Right.
people like this one. Let me watch episode one. It was about like Rogue or something, I think. But I ain't seen that show. I ain't read no comics. I ain't seen nothing. The only things that X-Men I've ever seen besides that one episode are these movies, of which I'd seen these three before.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely vaguely watched Origins Wolverine. I definitely was doing something else while the Wolverine was on. I know it's in Japan and he fights a mech at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen Deadpool 1, have not seen Deadpool 2, I've not seen that shitty new movie. I'd never go to the theaters, EliteAri. I haven't seen
Mm-hmm.
Logan, the one you like to jerk off.
The best one, yeah.
And I've seen First Class, the actual best one. I've seen
What about
Apocalypse,
Days of
I'm pretty
Future
sure.
Past?
I've seen Days of Future Past, the overrated shitty one. I haven't seen The Dark Phoenix, I don't think, and
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen New
Same.
Mutants. So I'm pretty sure that was all of them I just went over. I'm a genius. And X-Men only exists in this movie.
Crazy, my goodness. Okay, well for me,
Literally is exactly the same.
no, I was alive when all of these movies were out because I was born in 1997. I don't think, unless I'm just
Oh, not to be my
forgetting.
father.
Yeah, so true, Kyle. But I don't think I've seen any of these in the theaters. And I think that's because they have an
Neither have
M
I.
rating, and I think I would have been like 8 or 9 when the last one came out.
True. Now,
Um,
Leary, important to point out, you're talking about the Australian M rating, that it's PG-13, not the American M rating that's 17 plus.
oh, I have no idea. But regardless, I remember watching these on DVD when I was younger. I have seen. Actually, firstly, I remember enjoying them, but I wasn't very critical back then, so we'll see how things have changed.
True.
What else could I say? I think I've seen everything. No, I haven't seen everything. I haven't seen Dark Phoenix.
Oh,
What else were the ones you
you guys
listed?
just gave up.
I think I've seen everything else. Yeah. But I guess for Apocalypse, I watched like half of it, or like probably less than half of it, and it was really boring and bad, and I just like skipped to the end and watched like a final fight.
You know what? I feel
Um,
like Apocalypse was actually pretty good at Leadery,
Maybe, but
but
I
I
remember at the
vaguely only
time,
remember it.
everyone at
So
the
did
time was saying
journalism.
it was bad, so I didn't watch it.
That
Basically,
is true.
yeah. Anyway,
First of all, Leary, just for a second,
yeah.
fuck DVDs and their region locks. Of course, I have the great X-Men DVDs that I bought on Amazon, I'm pretty sure, back in when I was 14, like I was just talking about, probably with some of my birthday money. I'm thinking, oh, I can just watch those. This is going to be epic. I can't wait to review X-Men with the Leary. Oh, another pointer, a tangent and a tangent. This,
Mhm.
we're supposed to be talking about Die Buster or something, Leary, or Boat Shoe the Rock, and we just decided we're going to do X-Men on a whim, because that's pretty epic. Leary was talking about that shitty new Deadpool and Wolverine movie. movie, and then
Mhm.
we just like were reminiscing about the great X-Men movies. I think you did a tier list or something on stream, and he was like, "Oh, I would love to watch these again." And I put in the chat, EliteAri, I'm your biggest fan. Can we please review the X-Men review
Yep.
series?"
So
And
you're
here we
listening
are, like
right
a week later.
now. That could be you if you go to the chat during my live streams and be like, Ari, I want to rewatch this with you. Maybe you'll be
True.
next. So keep that in
But
mind.
fuck off. He's busy. We're doing every X-Men movie.
Yep.
Now, DVDs are region locked or something. I have no idea because I have played these DVDs before, Elite. Maybe I had a DVD player that was region free and I was playing it on them 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago, Elite.
Mhm.
I'm fucking old. I'm going to die soon. It would have been like 2014 too. So I don't know what happened, but I was very mad and I almost quit this series. And then
Mhm.
I had to pay for Disney Plus.
Excellent. Thanks, Kyle. That's
Disney
great.
Plus is pretty cool though.
I also watched these on Disney Plus. I think I rented the DVDs. I don't think I ever owned them back in the day. At least I know that I don't own them now, so I assume that we didn't throw them away. I have no idea. But who cares, Kyle, okay? We're done. The past is the past. We're here.
No, I'm still mad about it. I think I have all of the ones I've seen on DVD, maybe except for Apocalypse.
Mhm.
Oh, and do I have Days of Future Past? I don't remember.
Oh my gosh,
But
I
anyway,
did watch
got
some
both
in the
DVDs.
cinemas. I think I watched no, I didn't watch Days of Future Past in the cinemas. I might have watched First Class in the cinemas. I think I watched I definitely
was
watched
10.
Logan in the cinemas. I know a lot of the more recent ones I've watched in the cinemas basically. Anyway,
You're a
Kyle.
cinemaphile, Elite.
So
That's what we call you, Mushoku Tensei fans.
very funny. I'm assuming everyone listening right now probably hasn't watched the X-Men movies in a very long time. So I'm going to give a nice summary of these 3 movies, okay? The first one is called X-Men. It's a very straightforward movie. There's like 2 main characters, which are Wolverine and Rogue. And Rogue is a mutant who, if she like touches you, then she'll steal your life energy and abilities. The antagonist in this movie, believe it or not, is Magneto, and he has a little squad of mutants and is trying to turn the entire human population into humans.
Brotherhood Elite, not a squad.
Yeah, true. Well, he has women with him too, so it's like a squad, I guess.
But it's a Brotherhood Elite.
All right, yes. Anyway, and he's trying to turn the human population into mutants using a spinning metal magnetic field device. And however, the device is like way too dangerous, so he wants to force Rogue to steal his power and sacrifice herself instead. And the big ending is that Magneto is defeated and he ends up in a plastic jail. So that's the first movie. And I guess also there's like a decent size of characters cast of characters you meet here. So you've got like obviously Charles Xavier, you got Storm, you got Cyclops, you got Jean, you got Magneto, you got the 2 main characters, Wolverine, Rogue, and you've also got Mystique, Sabretooth, Toad, who I didn't remember at all.
The Great Toad.
Yep, and an anti-mutant senator who's kind of like a
Senator Kelly,
antagonist,
of
and then
course.
like a on our side, and then he kind of dies, and it's anyway. That's
Elite
X1.
doesn't remember names like me.
No, I don't. X-Men. Then we have X2, which is a slightly more complex movie than the very simple first
I'd say a
one.
much more complex movie. This
yep.
movie is fucking
Well,
whack.
oh my goodness. Okay, so we have William Stryker, who is trying to steal Cerebro and force Xavier to kill all the mutants across the world by implanting delusions in his mind using another mutant's abilities. So this movie involves the heroes and the villains from the last movie teaming up and breaking into Stryker's facility to stop Charles from killing all the mutants. And then in a sudden twist, Magneto does stop Charles, but then forces him to kill all the humans instead. But then Storm steps in and stops that from happening, and the X-Men are trying to get away, and then Jean sacrifices herself and drowns in the water. Or does she? ... So this movie has a few new characters. There's obviously Stryker. There's Nightcrawler. This is the big scene with the Nightcrawler like in the president's office at the beginning. Then there's Pyro and Iceman, the fire and ice people. Then we have the final last stand movie, X-Men 3.
Oh, no, Iceman's in the first one, by the way.
He is, but he's a much bigger role in the second one.
Oh, Fireman's also in the first one.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of small cameos by the people. Like, for instance, in the second movie, there's also Kitty Pryde, right? But she plays a larger role in the third
first
one.
But
Is she? Oh yeah, she is. She has like this one scene where she turns around and walks through a wall. That is true. Yeah. So there are characters that get introduced early, and we see them later in like the last movie.
Kitty Pryde is recast every movie, though. I'm pretty sure.
That's pretty crazy. Anyway, we have Last Stand, the third one. So a company has found a cure for mutants, and Magneto isn't too happy about this and declares that it's time for war. He moves the Golden Gate Bridge and begins an assault on the lab that is researching the cure. And the X-Men, they all work together and they inject him with the cure, and he is powerless. So that's like one half of the movie. And then at the same time, turns out that Jean Grey didn't die and is in fact has a hidden half of her personality called the Phoenix, which is insanely strong.
Just the Jean Grey we knew died.
It is, yeah. Well, kind of, but yeah, the Phoenix is insanely strong, psychic, telekinetic. She ends up killing Charles Xavier, who wants to control her, and siding with Magneto, who lets her be free.
And the great Cyclops.
True, she does kill Cyclops. That is the first death of this movie. And in the assault on the lab, she kills a bunch of people, and then Wolverine stops her by killing her. And in this movie, we get the big, massive, amazing Beast. We get Kitty Pryde, we get Colossus, and we get Juggernaut. And a bunch of other like small characters, but those are the ones.
Say it, EliteAri. Just say it. Just go ahead. Just do it.
I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. And it's like the coolest thing ever. So, my goodness.
Dickhead, she says.
Yeah, crazy. But yeah, those are the 3 movies. Number 1, you got Wolverine and Rogue. Number 2, you got the whole Stryker stuff. Number 3, you got the Cure stuff. So just in case you're wondering. So Kyle,
who remembered Rogue, by the way? She's
I remember Rogue because she terrified me.
Like, Jesus Christ, who knew this one?
It's so scary having a mutant that like you touch and she like makes your veins pop out and stuff. I remembered her very well. God, oh my gosh. And the guy in the wheelchair in the last one, I remembered that so well. That terrified me as a kid. Oh my goodness.
He's in the second one, stupid.
Oh, sorry, the second one. Yes, sorry. God, oh my God.
God, I just have such a great memory, and you don't, EliteAri. I'm so smart. Now,
So, Kyle,
EliteAri, we have to first. We have to say that another reason we did this is because we were both getting accosted for saying that the third one was the best one on your stream that time. Because,
true.
we just have such big brains. I will say going in that I think that was just my opinion. I remember having fun, these X-Men movies, wacky. I was into the MCU a lot, and, I'd seen obviously the old Spider-Man movies. So I was like, what's this X-Men about? I was just like, oh, that's our old movie. That's pretty cool. Sick. Yeah. And so I liked them all, but I remember liking the third one. But EliteAri, everybody says the third one is like the worst movie ever made.
That is what they say.
And we just hate those people, or at least we did. Maybe we agree with them now. I just checked because I just rated them on the letterbox. I made sure EliteAri didn't look, but EliteAri had 4 stars for every movie, so that's pretty funny. Why did you ask me what I think? How about you go first, pussy?
I mean, I can go first if you want. I think there's a very big distinction between the first movie and then the second and third. I think the first one, like I said, is very simple, which I think is really good and one of its strengths, how simple it is and how like grounded it kind of is at the beginning, at least. But I think the first one has a very bad ending, it just comes out of it just happens so quickly. Magneto is like, I guess the climax just doesn't make any sense to me at all. Like, why is he using Rogue? I mean, I guess I understand why he's using Rogue, right? Because he's gonna die otherwise. But how does he use Rogue? How does he hold on to Rogue for so long? Why doesn't he die? Why does he get hit by the laser guy and survive? And just it's really, I don't know. It's weird. It's anticlimactic. I don't like the ending basically. But I think the majority of the movie is great. And yeah, I guess that's my take for the first one. And then we've got the other two, which are much more, I guess, more in line with the more recent kind of superhero movies where you have a lot more action and kind of a bigger cast of characters. And I enjoy those more
generally.
The
first one is a little funny, EliteAri, a little funny.
Yeah. No, not really. Not necessarily. I think the action was fine in the first one. Nothing stood out where I'm like, oh, that was like notably bad.
Some of it is very bad.
Oh, I'm curious what you're thinking then, because nothing stood out.
Whenever they like jump through the air, it looks very bad.
Oh no, none of that bothered me at all. But I mean, maybe that's also a thing. I know people say that about the Spider-Man movies, and none of that ever bothered me in that. So I'm not sure. But yep, crazy. That's my general thoughts. I like the second two more. I think 2 and 3 are like equally. I like them for different reasons. I think they're both pretty good. I don't really have a strong, clear winner. 3 did have some stuff that bothered me a little bit. I think the Phoenix storyline just was, I don't know, it was my least favorite part of that movie. But yeah. So Kyle, what do you think? Oh no, wait.
What are the numbers?
Oh, numbers? They're probably all like 4 out of 5 still. I think I like them all quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah. But I was going to say also, in that first one, Rogue is a little bit annoying, okay? But yeah, that's it.
Well, EliteAri, I concur that actually, I think they're all basically the same. I gave them all 3.5 stars. I don't think the first one's any worse.
Mm-hmm.
I like the first one it is very simple. It's very direct. I think I like that because I think X2 is very long and that kind of brings it down. And I think they understood that because that's why they made the third one a lot shorter. I do agree the third one does have a lot of issues, I think. Like characters being weird and not the same as they were in the last 2 movies. I also think it's probably quick and it probably actually should have been longer. And the Jean Grey stuff is kind of boring because they kind of just do go with it's just like a new character, but not even really a character. She's just like mad and eviscerating people every once in a while.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what you say about the third one when we get to it, because for me the only issue really was the Jean stuff. I didn't notice any of the character stuff, but maybe you'll convince me. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll go through it more. I just want to say that EliteAri, you're a little pussy. Whenever I finish a movie, of course, I type it in the YouTube search bar and find all the great channels I like and what they've said about these movies over the years. And for all
Mm.
three, I did watch the 2 hour podcast that the Kind of
Oh
Funny
wow.
guys did reviewing each of them. Now, these people, EliteAri, think these movies are all like 1 out of 5. They think they are
Mm.
fucking terrible. So that's good for us, EliteAri, because I'll probably talk the
I
movies
am
up because I was
curious.
just like, silly
Are they
fellas.
like what's
Um,
their reasons? Are they like big comic fans? Are they
they,
like
yes, they are. They're not like highbrow. We only like Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Mhm.
They just think like the action was absolutely abysmal.
Oh
To
wow.
the point where I was defending it. They thought it was just terrible. They said like every time somebody would compliment the movie, they would be like, "No, I'm not saying this movie is any better than trash, but this part was kind of cool." They
Mm.
just, I don't know. They said that all the costuming was terrible. They really hated all the wigs, which is something I didn't notice at all.
Yep.
They said I don't know, everything was stupid, everything was dumb, and comparing it to the MCU all the time and how that's actually cool and
Oh,
stuff.
these are like recent
Uh,
reviews. Okay, interesting.
yes, yes, yes. I think this X-Men review series they did was in 2018. So I'm a
Okay,
little old. But I remember
interesting.
I had watched them all when they came out because I every time I clicked on one of the videos, I had a like on there from
Yep. I guess
I'm pretty cool.
for comparison, the I did look up one thing after I watched this. Well, I got two things. One, I looked up like what do people not like about The Last Stand because I was curious. I'm like, because to me, again, rewatching it now, it doesn't stand out as a particularly bad movie or anything. I enjoyed it a lot. I couldn't. I was even when I was watching it, I was like, I don't truly understand why this one particularly would be more hated than the other two. Um, and I guess the big takeaway, firstly, I looked it up on Reddit. I didn't watch any like YouTube videos or anything, but to me, a lot of the criticism was about how they butchered characters from the comic books. And it seemed
Yeah,
to me
yeah,
like a
that's what
lot of
it is.
comic fans who were quite upset with how they treated characters that they respected or whatever, which to me, I don't care about at all. Like, I don't have any history with these characters. I don't
Yeah,
really,
that's
like, there's no element to that at all in my watching of this series. The
that.
other thing, sorry, yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead. Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say that's why I wanted to bring that up at the beginning because I know a massive thing is that people really, really, really hate this Cyclops because
Oh,
Cyclops is supposed
wow.
to be the leader and the second in command, and he's supposed to be like way older than everybody else, and he just leads them around in this
Yeah, that
TV
makes
show or
sense.
whatever. And I know people are very, very mad about the Dark Phoenix not being a cool alien beating up Apocalypse or whatever, but just being a crazy girl or whatever
Mm.
at the end.
That is the one thing I
Um,
knew about this, which is that I've heard in the comics that or somewhere that Phoenix is like an entity that takes over or like possesses someone.
yeah,
But
it's
in
like an
this, it's not
alien
that at
thing. Yeah,
all. It's like she
no,
just has a split personality. It was very hard to divorce
it's
that from
really
my
cool.
mind. So yeah. But the other thing, review wise, that I consumed was Roger Ebert or whatever. Is that his name? You know, the famous like reviewer guy.
Yeah.
I was curious because I remember
I've
I think it
never
was
seen
you.
his reviews to this.
Yeah, you
This is
like
my
brought him
fault
up
now
on
because I
stream.
sent a thingy.
Yeah, I didn't
Well,
watch it.
we were
Sorry,
talking about Jackie Brown.
I read this
Oh,
like spoiler free review that he had. Oh, I don't know if it was spoiler free, but he basically said the first one was okay. Now I'm gonna try and like remember what he said, but I think he said that it was a bit. There's so many different characters and they don't really get room to breathe, and it's like hard to keep track. And they all get their moments where they like do their little special thing, and then we never see them again. And I was like, this is really funny because there's hardly any characters in this, at least in my opinion, for this first movie, compared to at least modern movies where there's so many different superheroes that are
yeah.
like on screen. So it's funny to read that. But he thought it was generally okay. And then for the other two, he thought they were better. And he gave them, I think, 3.5 stars for both out of 4. So it was like, damn, okay, I didn't know that he actually liked these so much.
Yeah, because
So yeah.
I follow like his. It's not his, but somebody made a letterbox account for him, and they put like his rankings up there. And I did
Mm-hmm.
see it was like 2.5 stars or what for one of them, or
Yep.
and
I think the
and the other.
first one he didn't like. The other two were
Yeah,
almost, yeah, they're like almost 4 stars, which is crazy. Um,
yeah. I think. Well, that doesn't prove shit. But what I'm gonna say, Leary, just turn your brain off for a second.
mm.
That proves that it's just these loosey comic fans that don't like the third
My
one.
goodness. True, yes,
Real
we hate
smart
them.
people like me and Roger Ebert, the two greatest critics to ever live,
Mm-hmm.
we say it's maybe pretty good.
All right, fantastic. All right, well, let me see. I actually do have
Are we
other
going
overall
through
thoughts. I'm just
movie
wondering
by
why.
movie? Is
What
this going to
do
be crazy?
So there, okay, firstly, there's like 3. One is the M rating instead of R. I wanted to talk about. There's more of an overarching thing where there is there is surprisingly in Last Stand
Oh, I have to
especially.
correct you, EliteAri, because you're
Yes,
like,
please.
why does Magneto just get lasered and not get lasered in half? Now, this was a thing
Yep.
brought up on the Kind of Funny thing, and that's when they Googled it, and it turns out that the laser that Cyclops shoots, now this is just from the comics and not really explain the movie, but it kind of tracks, is
Mm.
actually just a concussive wave, and it's not like hot or anything, so it just hits you back. It doesn't go through you and
Okay.
stuff.
Well, I guess the
Idiot.
way they portrayed in the movie, where it like destroys walls and ceilings and stuff, which are made of concrete, it made me
True,
think that yeah,
but
it
it's
would
just
kill him.
punching through the wall. It's not
Right,
melting
right.
him.
Yeah, so it doesn't punch through skin or anything. It just like I don't know,
No,
knocks
he
him
was.
back.
He knew that it was Magneto, and he doesn't want to kill a person. EliteAri.
Yeah, I mean, I can buy it. He just has the control through his like little mechanism he has on his head. It's just a bit
It's
silly
cool
to me, I guess.
sunglasses, bro.
Yeah. But also, by the way, when you were talking, I looked up the Roger Ebert thing, and he actually gave him 3 stars, not 3.5. So let's not besmirch this dead
True, you're
man's
trying
name,
to over
okay?
exaggerate it.
Yeah.
Oh, Leary, I have one thing. Did you notice in that whenever they do the 20th Century Fox thing, the X stays on for a little bit longer?
I know because I skipped it every time they showed it. I would
Oh
not
my!
dare skip
You're
through
an
the credits.
idiot. You're
Why
not
would
allowed
I?
to skip stuff
Why
in the
on earth
beginning.
would I sit through the beginning where they're showing the same
get in the
3
mood,
companies every
Leary. You
time?
gotta sit there and watch and be
Oh
like,
my
"Oh my god, I'm
god.
watching a movie right now. This is crazy. That's a logo. Oh my god, you're the type of bloke to at the beginning of the end of Ava where there's 4 minutes of logos. You're not gonna watch them all.
Yep, absolutely.
You're a moron. What if music is playing? What about like in the Harry Potter movies where it's like Voldemorted up?
I mean, I would probably stick through those because they're like nice and custom. But if I see the 20th Century Fox thing and it's like the typical thing I've seen a million times, I'm done. I'm skipping it.
Like
But
the
anyway,
song, Leary, I can't
oh
really
my
do it.
goodness,
It's
I do
epic.
like the song. It is great. But the overall note I was going to say is that these have M ratings, and it's very clear that they're not R rated. Even though there is a lot of violence, especially in the last one with Jean like basically splitting people apart and killing Charles and everything. I think these movies would have benefited from being more violent and showing, I guess, I don't know how you would do it, but just I don't know, making it more violent, and it would have felt more less cartoonish, I guess. I don't know. Did you notice that at all? Were you like, oh, this feels like they're holding back?
Oh
a
yeah,
bit, or?
sometimes Wolverine just stabs somebody and the blood is not it doesn't go. And
Yeah, sure.
sometimes he stabs Mystique and there's just like a little tiny little red mark there. That was cool.
Yeah.
That was funny. But yeah. But EliteAri, these are like the first superhero movies, so they had to be
True.
for kids.
Okay. I mean, yeah, that makes sense, but crazy. But yeah, that's all my overall notes, Kyle. So
Oh my god. The
let's
great
go into it.
X1.
What do we say?
Let
I
me
don't
do
know.
my notes, EliteAri. How about
Yeah,
that?
go ahead. Yep.
X for the logo. True. Early 2000s is like the coolest, like Harry Potter and stuff. True, EliteAri. Isn't the early 2000s just the coolest?
So what
That's
are you
what we got.
referring to? The actual setting of the movie or the way it was made? Because it's like filmed differently.
Both.
I do appreciate the way that it was filmed. I don't know what it is. It's like I don't know. I don't know enough
Golden
about like
Gate.
cinematography and stuff, but it feels different to modern movies. Which I like. It is pretty cool. Like those early scenes in the movie, especially where you're following Rogue. Yeah, it was cool.
And she's just in a room. How come in every American movie, EliteAri, they're just in like these massive giant houses?
I've never realized that, but also I don't know. Maybe back in the
They're
day,
just so massive. Rogue's house at the beginning, her room is like bigger than my whole house. And then,
didn't notice
when we
that.
go to Iceman's house, it's ginormous, and every house on the street is like that. And even in like Breaking Bad or whatever, EliteAri, you just see the houses outside, and they're ginormous.
So I don't know
Are
if
we
like
just poor, EliteAri?
I've never noticed that ever. So I don't know. Maybe this is just like suburban life and like in America. I have no idea. I'm not sure.
No, EliteAri, you're just rich and you got a giant house, huh?
Yeah, maybe that's it. I guess we'll never know.
Disgusting.
But yep.
Oh, and then I had a joke here that says before Hollywood went woke. True, that's why it was cool, and that's why the
Right.
early 2000s are the best.
Well, there is an element to this movie which is the toxic masculinity of Wolverine. He's like
True,
he's eating on
he's
Jean.
just poking a bitch.
He's trying to
yeah.
out alpha Cyclops and
True, he's just fucking his girl in front of him, and he ain't doing nothing about it. It's a little
Yep.
funny, and we're on his side because we like Wolverine, and he's the main guy, and Cyclops is a little dork. It's funny, but there's also Storm just decides she has a crush on Nightcrawler because they both have dark skin.
Hey, wait,
Weird.
does she? When
And
was
then-
this? I don't remember that at all.
They're absolutely looking into each other's eyes and say, "Oh, I think you're beautiful."
I don't know. Maybe I know I didn't miss a scene.
She
I don't
definitely says
remember
that
at
about
all.
his skin while she's looking into his eyes.
Oh yeah, but that's like he's
No,
ashamed
no,
of who he
no!
is.
I'm not letting him gaslight us today, chat. There's no way they're fucking.
All right,
Also,
if
he's
he's able.
German,
Well, we
but,
don't know that. He just speaks German. We don't know if he's German.
and his name is German.
Yeah,
he
he's-
doesn't speak. Oh
maybe
yeah, I
he's an
guess he
immigrant.
does speak German sometimes. And he has a accent.
Yep.
But yeah, the black people should stick together. This movie says, and there were other things.
He's
There's
blue.
another big example that I'm trying to think of, but I can't remember.
All right.
He's a very dark blue. Now,
Okay.
fuck, I can't remember the other example, but true. Problematic, EliteAri. I hate X-Men.
All right. Well, it was just funny because it's back in the day. This is made a product of its time, you would say. But it's
There are
a
a lot of
minor
kids on
element.
that set, and the director's a pedophile leader. You want to say something about that?
Yeah, I don't actually know. I know that he's a bad person. I don't actually know what the.
I
I
don't
don't know
know
much
anything,
about him.
Leader. Red Letter Media says it sometimes, so it must be true.
Yep. So crazy.
You know, he made the Apocalypse movie too, I think. So that's
That's
crazy. He
crazy.
was still doing it like in 2016.
But as far as I know, the third one was directed by someone else, right?
He
Crazy.
was by Brett Ratner. Is that right? I think that's right.
Did you notice any differences in the style of the directing, or did it feel the same for you?
Not really. It was also written by different people. The first one is written by Solid Snake's voice actor from Metal Gear Solid, David Hayter.
That's pretty
That's pretty
cool.
funny. And
I guess if
he
we're
does
no, go
the
ahead, please.
story on the second one. He has a story credit, but somebody else has. There's like 3 people with writing credits.
I was shocked to see that Ray Park was Toad in the first movie. I couldn't believe it. Which,
I don't know
if
who that
anyone
is.
listening, Ray Park is Darth Maul from the Phantom Menace. I just
Oh my
crazy.
god, that's why he was flipping around and doing the things
Yep.
and sticking his tongue out and being a goofy little fella. That
Yep.
was funny. It's just like Beast is that guy from Frasier, and he gets his and Cheers because his name is
Mm,
Frasier. You know those great sitcoms, Leary. You
I've
know
heard of
that
them.
video Miller tries to get you to watch about the Fantastic Four. That guy
Yep.
made a video about that guy's sitcom, and I watched the whole thing. And it was like 3 hours, and it was epic. So I know everything about this fella.
Yep.
Never recognized him though, because he looks very different and acts very different.
Well, I mean,
Now,
if we're talking about casting, we should also say that Wolverine is in this movie, and he looks so young. Isn't that crazy, Kyle? He
he
just
does look
like
very young in that
he
first
looks.
one.
I was shocked because he looks nothing like he does in the Deadpool and Wolverine. But when I watched Deadpool and Wolverine, I was like, oh my god, he looks just like he did in those movies back in the day. So
In
it's
the
like a weird
first one,
disconnect.
EliteAri, he's not even jacked. He's like a normal looking bloke.
He
What was
does,
up with
yeah, he
that?
does look very normal, and he's just so like so young. It's just crazy. I couldn't believe it. Um,
Now I think I got this from the kind of funny thing. So if anything I say is fake,
right.
blame them. I think the meme is that Hugh Jackman was like a last minute addition, and they had gotten a different guy, and he was like jacked and stuff, and then they were like, we can't do you, and Hugh Jackman's coming in. So that's
Mhm.
pretty funny. Um, there was a million behind the scenes things like that, but I can't remember them all, Leary.
All right. Well, I mean, other than that, casting wise, I don't know. They're all great. I didn't have
And they made
anyone
fun
who
of
I'm like,
Jean
oh, they're
Grey for
bad.
being old.
Who? Oh, the people you're
Kind of
listening
funny.
to. All right, that's great. Well, is she meant to be young? I have no idea.
I don't know. Now, I wanted to say something about another casting thing. Patrick
Charles
Stewart,
Xavier. Yep.
the great Star Trek guy, and apparently Ian McKellen, the great Gandalf or the great Magneto.
Hmm.
He apparently this was like his first big movie role or some shit.
That's great. He does a good
He
job.
was like 70.
Yep. There's no way there's no way he was 70.
He was probably like 63 when this movie
Yeah,
was made.
sure. He's great. I think he's one of the highlights of performance wise. I
He's
don't
pretty
really,
cool, bro.
yeah.
He's got a great voice.
He is like Magneto in my mind. I guess I've never seen any other representation besides the younger version.
Yeah,
of him,
Michael
so,
Fassbender, he's pretty cool.
yeah. I mean, actually, he did. Actually, I do remember liking him a lot as well. Interesting. I don't know.
Because X-Men First Class is the best one, right?
It was very good. I do remember that.
Yeah,
The
you're
movies are
just on
also
that
pretty good.
Logan bandwagon. You're an idiot.
Yeah. I mean,
That
X Men
movie sucked.
Origins Wolverine was really good. I'm curious.
That's right.
to watch
EliteAri
that
also
one day.
liked that one. I don't
Yeah.
remember liking that one very much. So
That one I've seen a
when we
few
do that,
times, so I'm pretty
it
confident
makes.
that's
I
a good one.
remember watching these movies the first time, EliteAri. I remember being so confused at a bunch of parts, and I was like, "Why did they make a Wolverine movie next?" But like these movies set up that, like, oh my god, because first of all, the end of the second one, Wolverine kind of goes, "Well, I guess I don't care about my past anyway." He runs off. And so now it's like, oh, that's why they made X-Men Origins Wolverine, because going into the second one, I was like, I didn't remember what the backstory was, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be cool. I can't wait for this reveal. And then it didn't happen, and I wasn't like mad or anything. I wasn't like, well, what the fuck was the point or something. I'm throwing a pissy fit.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, oh my god, that's why they would make X-Men Origins Wolverine to do his backstory, because that's so smart, EliteAri.
Yep.
But then they did a reboot after that, I don't know.
I guess
don't know
that
what the
is
mindset was.
that is also one more thing I was surprised at, that how there were interconnected like plot threads across these three movies. Like the
Yeah.
Phoenix thing, I think was
It
seeded
feels
in
like
the
a
first
trilogy.
movie even, or maybe it was the second one. It was basically seeded over multiple
It's definitely in the
movies.
second one.
And the Wolverine, obviously, his backstory is seeded in the first one and continues on into like the future movies. Like it was, I was not expecting it at all. I thought they'd be quite self-contained, but I mean they
Yeah,
are
the,
mostly, but still.
And the third one, because they just start killing a bunch of people off. It's definitely like written like a trilogy. Like this is the last one,
Yeah.
so we may as well get rid of everybody.
Yep,
But
pretty
they
cool.
definitely sequel bait at the end of that one, so
They
I don't know.
absolutely
They're
do, and
probably
it's amazing that there hasn't been like a direct sequel afterwards. I mean, obviously we have Days of Future Past, right?
true. I was thinking
Um,
about that. I was like,
yeah,
oh yeah, this is like the end of this like universe kind of like we'll get prequels that'll like ruin everything. Well, not like
yeah,
ruin everything as in they're bad, but like it will contradict a lot of this stuff. I do
yeah.
remember that at least. Um,
And then we get like the big time skip, and then Days of Future Past. We don't get
yeah.
like anything that's like in between. This is like continuing on. Like, how does Magneto like? How does he develop his powers back? And what is Charles
Oh,
doing
I
with
was
his new
hoping
body?
that
And
that
like,
would be explained at the beginning of X-Men Days of Future Past, but now you just spoiled that it's not
I
a
don't
Leader
remember.
directed
Maybe
yet.
it does. It's been I watched that once, and it was a very long time ago, so I'm
I
not
watched
sure.
it once in between playing the Great Firewatch that I keep telling EliteAri to play. He promised me he would play, but still hasn't done it.
Hmm.
And then I was like, man, can this movie be done so I can go and finish Firewatch? And I remember,
Crazy.
oh, he moved to Stadium. Isn't that cool? No, it's
Mm.
not cool. Shut up. Shit movie. Everybody loves it. Now, there was one more thing about casting or something, EliteAri.
Well, there's
Oh, do you think this is
Mystique.
the first superhero movie to have a post-credit scene? The third one?
No, well, that's a good question. Because the only
Because
other
Kevin Feige
options.
did get a producer credit on that one. I did notice. I was like, is
Oh,
this
I
where he
didn't
got the
notice
idea?
that.
It's also crazy that like Iron Man is only like 2 years after that movie, where that movie feels like old, like
Yeah, it
not Iron
does.
Man, but X3 feels like old 2006. That's like I can't even barely even remember that time. 2008, bro. This is modern times. This
Hmm.
is crazy. This is the MCU. This is like 20 years after the last X-Men movie, of course.
Yep.
But that's funny.
I would have to
I'll
assume
just
this
look it
is
up
the
while you talk.
first like post credit scene because there's Spider-Man which was out at this time, which I don't think had post credit scenes,
No.
and then there's also the Fantastic Four movies. I don't remember anything about those, so I have no idea if they had
Those
post
do
credit scenes.
exist.
Um, and beyond
Origins
that, there
of
wasn't
the
much.
superhero post credits scene. Google, give me an answer. Don't make me click on an article. Oh, it's giving me an answer. In 2008, Iron Man was the first Marvel movie.
Unbelievable.
Shut up, you fucking piece of shit.
Doesn't know nothing.
I bet this was AI EliteAri. This is
Yeah,
terrible.
probably.
I don't want to click on these. Anyway, obviously the audience is going to tell us EliteAri that Blade 3 had a post credit scene, but I think Blade 3 was 2007. Now, I
Mhm.
haven't seen a Blade movie, but
Neither have I, and I never will.
what do you think the first movie to do a post-credit scene was? Now that's
I
crazy.
have no idea. There's so many movies out there, Kyle. Um, okay, well, my
Back to
other,
X1 EliteAri.
yeah, my note about
Jumping
X1.
ahead.
There's something kind of interesting going on when I'm watching this movie, Kyle, which is I have two simultaneous perspectives in my mind. Like on one hand, there is the perspective of someone who doesn't know anything about. Actually, no, there's three. Now that I thought about it more, there is the
Which is
first
most
perspective.
respectable.
Yeah, someone who doesn't know anything about superheroes, and they're just watching in the 2000s, like me, for instance, or you, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, look at this! It's like a superhero movie with like characters that are like
True.
new, and there's like a guy with claws and stuff."
Superheroes are lame, but this
Yep.
movie's alright.
Then
Superheroes
there's
are for nerds.
then there's a
I'm not
second
a
group of
nerd.
people who are comic book fans in the year 2000, and they're seeing this, and they're like,
Mouth
"Oh my
breathing fucking
gosh,
morons.
there's Wolverine! He's on the big screen for the first time. That's crazy." They're like a whole group of people. And then
Why is
there's
he so
like
tall?
then
That's
there's
what they would
us
say.
in the modern day who are rewatching these
Oh,
movies in 2024 who obviously know Magneto and Wolverine and Charles Xavier, and these are characters that are obviously well established in our minds, and in the idea of just like social discourse out there, which is a very different perspective. And what you're seeing in this movie is like the iconic first introduction of Wolverine to the cinema, and it's like, oh my gosh, where he goes on to hit from here is crazy. But
yeah.
yeah, I guess
Like
it
a retrospective
in my
perspective.
mind, it is the two warring like perspectives of like I know these characters very well. So for instance, I can't really tell if like say Magneto, does he have a lot of development? Is his story too rushed? Like I have no idea because in my mind Magneto is just like Magneto, like I know him. So it's just hard to tell stuff like that. But yeah, it'd be different if you just were like a comic book fan or hadn't seen anything. But yep, crazy.
True.
Thank you.
There was
Kyle.
something
That's
I wanted
great.
to say in there, but I forgot it. So, some things just happen. Some things come, some things go.
All right.
Oh, I have in a note here for my first X-Men one, my second note actually. I say I liked it more than I expected and remembered. I do remember feeling this way after X1. Leary, I was feeling that way, and then watching X2, I was like, oh, this one's a little long sometimes, but it's pretty good. And then I finished X3 and I liked it. But today I thought about it a lot, and I was like, this old X3, I don't know about this one. And so now maybe I have a more dour mood. But I don't want to say that it's worse than either of the other ones. So I
Hmm.
don't know, Illyria. But I was watching this first movie and I was thinking it was good. And I have a note about a scene particularly that I think is probably the best scene in the whole thingies.
In the first
But
movie.
we'll get to that. Yeah.
Okay, well,
Um,
I only have one
I
note.
also have I'm. Hold on, what do you say, Illyria?
I have one note about this movie that's left.
No, all my notes are about this one, so don't worry, I'll carry you.
Mm,
I mostly remembered the Statue of Liberty stuff and the Magneto Leia stuff. True, I remembered those two
mm,
things. The rest of it, I remembered they started in like the winters or something, and they
yep.
probably go to the School of Witchcraft and Wizardry a little bit. Can you believe this came out before the first Harry Potter, bro? Crazy.
Mm,
But yeah, so remembering stuff is always fun until like remembering stuff and remembering that you didn't remember stuff is always the most exciting thing while you're watching it, but then you immediately forget it. Because I've gone through those
mm,
Pokemon notes, Elitery. Don't want to go on too much of a tangent, but in those notes constantly, I'm just like, oh my god, I remembered that. Oh my god, I didn't remember this at all. And now that I'm reading it like a year after I took those notes, I have no memory of remembering things or not remembering
mm.
things. You just overwrite those memories. And it's already happened 3 days later. So memories are dumb and not interesting to talk about. So let's stop talking about them,
All
and I
right, go
also have
ahead.
written down here that I watched the Kind of Funny review, but I also watched, of course, EliteAri, the great superhero rewinds, greatest YouTube reviewing channel of all time. They were making YouTube scripted reviews back in like 2007, I think, or something, because their first X-Men movie was like the superhero rewind EliteAri by the Geek Evolution channel, of course, a scripted review series, a video essay series of them. Their plan was to talk about every superhero movie that was ever made, and when they started in 2006, Illyria, that seemed possible.
Mm.
um
It's still
you know
definitely
I used
possible.
and there's like 300 and 400 superhero movies. You could never
Really?
do that in scripted movies.
Or are
Yeah,
you
he talks about it
joking?
all the time, because if you
Oh
do like the
wow.
animated ones and all the old ones and stuff, there's a lot of them, Illyria.
Oh wow. I wouldn't have believed it.
But anyway, his plan was to do that, and X-Men 1 was like his second review. So I rewatched his first X-Men 1 review because he went back and he re-reviewed him like 10 years later, because
Mm,
I used to watch all these back in like 2013, Illyri, so I loved him. I think it would be very interesting because generally he's a smart fellow, this Geek Evolution. He's a very unique way of writing and stuff that's very like old school, like good, but like isn't really seen anymore. This is not that popular of a channel. I think they have like 91,000 subs or something, but that's been over like literally 20 years.
mm,
Um, I think it might be interesting on stream, whether we're together or it's just you alone, Elitery, to maybe, because I know they're one of the people that didn't like the third X-Men movie. So I think
mm.
maybe that would be an interesting review for us to watch. But anyway, I didn't
Right.
end up watching the X2 or X3 ones
Mm,
because that first X-Men one was like 7 minutes. So, easy. But
right.
then their re-review that they did 10 years later, 42 minutes. And I only got a little bit into that. But anyway, I wanted to mention that when I mentioned Kind of Funny for the first time, but I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to do your one other note, Elitery, for this movie before I continue?
Mine is just about the ending. Like, if you can explain to me what happened, like why, what? Okay, firstly, what's the whole logistic with? I understand Magneto spinning this thing, right, and it makes other people into mutants, and he uses his
Cool,
magnetism to
bro.
do it, obviously.
I
And
didn't
he
even think
doesn't.
about that. It's just a thing. But that makes sense.
Yeah. And he is wanting to. Well, when he does it, it hurts himself, right? Charles like looks
It
into the memory
drains
of
him.
the senator, and he sees that, oh my gosh, Magneto's so weak after doing it, and he'll die if he does it. So from Magneto's perspective, he wants to like turn the whole world into mutants. Maybe it's like a noble thing, like he doesn't believe
Well,
that
it
the
wasn't the
senator guy
whole
died.
world.
Well, yeah, it's the leaders, I guess. Sorry, but I mean, if it were up to him, probably the whole world. But he wants to turn the leaders in the UN summit or whatever the hell that big political thing is into
Well,
leaders.
it's interesting, even that part of it, because he doesn't, because at this point he doesn't like want to kill people too much. He'll kill Rogue for the greater good or whatever, but it's like he
Yeah.
wants to make all the world leaders the people with power mutants, so their cause will become our cause, or be their cause or whatever. So it's sort of like forcing them to become mutants, and
Mm.
then we will get mutant freedoms and stuff. So it's like not a too evil of a plan, but
Well, I don't
they
know.
cuck out because then they make it like, oh, actually it doesn't work, and it actually just kills the people after like 2 days or whatever. So we have to
Well,
stop it.
I think it depends, right? And now maybe I haven't thought
And
about
also
this
we got to stay
enough
broke.
because I'm just coming this off the. It's coming off the top of my head. But Magneto's whole thing, well, maybe not Magneto, but the Steelman of Magneto's side is that not quirks. This is My Hero Academia. Jesus, mutations are part of your identity, right? They are who you are, and you shouldn't want to get rid of them. Or people shouldn't force you to get rid of the mutations because they are part of your identity, right? In the same manner, Magneto
Yeah.
shouldn't be forcing mutations onto people who aren't currently mutants if they don't choose to do it. He is like
Well, then he's got to
enforcing.
kill them all because they're
Well,
oppressing him.
Well, then the other way around, right? The other people feel that the mutants are a threat because they're killing them, which is what Magneto's people are doing. Then he is just enacting the same cruelty that they are doing to the mutants in the third movie, but he's doing it to the people now, like in the first movie. So it's kind of like, I don't think the movie is quite. I think the movie is simple enough where it's just like, oh yeah, he at least is not killing them. He's just turning them into mutants. And like, if the senator didn't get died after the conversion, then it would all be okay. I don't think like that is consistent across the three movies, though. I feel like changing people to become mutants goes against his, I guess, the steelman of his philosophy.
Yeah, it definitely escalates his identity. Not his identity, his motivation, his methods. I don't know. Yeah.
Anyway.
Because in the second movie, he's just like, fuck it. Get him to kill all the people, the humans. And I was like, oh, this is crazy, bro. What are they going to do? He can't kill all the humans.
Yep, very true. Oh my god.
It's funny. Maybe it isn't consistent. What?
You know what's crazy? What? I guess we'll talk about it now. I'd never realized, Kyle, and I feel so stupid for not realizing it because it's like the entire point.
Whatever you're about to say, I definitely realized it, and I'm really smart. Go ahead.
It's okay. No, this is the point of Magneto's character. I just never understood. He is the person who is like harassed and destroyed and abused and tortured by the Nazis, right? He was the person whose family was ripped apart and was in the Holocaust.
Auschwitz, EliteAri.
Yeah,
this is crazy.
And then he goes on to become the person who is becoming that racist, who saying that we are superior, we are the mutants are another species, and he is the one who goes on to commit the acts that the Nazis were committing. So he like becomes the abuser himself through the abuse. I've never considered that before. It just crossed my mind when I was watching like the third movie halfway through. I was like, oh my gosh, that's like the whole point of it, the whole irony. Like that's his character.
Violence begets violence, and hate begets hate, EliteAri.
Yeah, so crazy.
Evil is a relay sport with a bit. You know that song, EliteAri?
I don't know any songs. Okay. Because I was midway through my point.
That's a way cooler metaphor, EliteAri. Evil is a relay sport. Whenever you turn to pass the torch. Crazy.
No, it's the Nazis bad, Magneto bad. There we go. That's the actual point.
But also, Magneto is actually the good guy, and this is all just self-defense.
You probably could make that argument. Except for the fact that he betrays Mystique in that one scene after she loses.
True. What a meanie.
Yeah.
That's another thing people don't like. It's like Magneto would never do that to
Well, he did it though. Crazy.
But he did. But that's why it's out of character, and the third one's bad.
Oh, it's out of character. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. It was in his character when I saw it. That's crazy. Okay, so when my actual thing here, I had a question about this. So in the wrap up of this movie one, Magneto doesn't want to be the one in the machine because it will kill him, right?
Yeah, he's a little bit of coward, this fella.
So then he wants to use Rogue, whose ability is that as soon as like she touches you, she will like steal your ability and life force, and if you hold on for too long, you'll die, right? Which is, in my opinion, it came across as way more risky than actually using the machine because people will die when touching her. That's like a fact, right? And he's holding on for a very long time, and I think he almost certainly should have died. So it's a bit of the believability thing that bothers me. But yeah, I could buy that. I could buy that it's like, okay, he's just like, he knows exactly how long to hold on. He's done his research, whatever. But I don't understand how he made her spin the machine. I just don't understand that.
True.
Because that was the big thing where I'm like, her power isn't to like, she's not going to use it voluntarily.
Maybe
like,
he spins the machine.
Okay.
Because that's not the part that hurts. It's holding the thing that hurts. But then why would what is she even doing there? Just powering it? But why would she power it? Good idea. Good point, EliteAri.
Thank you.
That's what was there with the kind of funny guys picking apart this plot piece by piece. At one point they had a whiteboard. It was very funny. I love the kind of funny guys. They're pretty funny, EliteAri. That's the appeal, okay? They're not making the best points all the time.
Unlike us, we're the best
at one point, one of them had a whiteboard out and was drawing the map between Boston and New York and was saying how the time didn't match up like it was Game of Thrones season 7.
Mm-hmm.
So that was funny. But yeah, you would fit in with them, EliteAri. You're just like them.
You know, it is. Sometimes I can let these
takes you out.
I can let these things go, Kyle. I'm really good at that. Okay. Sometimes it takes out a lot of people. It doesn't bother me. This time it bothered me. I was like, because it's such a simple movie. Just have like a nice simple climax. Like maybe make it so that like her power
that can control her mind and make her do it.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you need. Like a little thing like that. Or like you know what? Just put your helmet on her or something, and then at least I'll be like, oh, the helmet's like possessed or something. I don't know, like do something interesting with it where it's like, oh, a little thing where I can just believe that's what happened. But I don't know, it bothered me a little bit. That's my only note. Okay.
I think because in these movies, EliteAri, there's actually a funny Bryan Singer quote that was in the kind of funny stuff where it was like, Brian Singer, he said, I like to fuck kids. No, he
Okay.
didn't. He said, take that out of context, EliteAri. Now, he said, like, originally he rejected doing X-Men because X-Men wasn't high literature, which was the gayest thing anybody's ever said. I think he's actually
Mm.
gay, EliteAri. I shouldn't have said
Yeah,
that.
don't. How dare you?
But oh my god, EliteAri, you're vomiting in your mouth too, right?
About the high literature thing?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, it bothers me when people say stuff like that. It's like a similar like what's the name for it? Like when
High art,
someone
low
thinks
art?
they're when someone thinks that they're like above something. Yeah,
Pretentious?
it's very pretentious. And there's a similar thing to like people who watch like things on their cell phones, so like they're so bad and it's a
On their
inferior
fucking
experience. Yeah, like it's
telephones.
so
No.
pretentious and it
David
like
Lynch is an old man, EliteAri. He's allowed to do what he wants. He makes movies. You
yeah,
don't make
true.
anything.
Yeah, not
So
Brian Singer. He
shut your
doesn't make
mouth.
movies. Yeah.
Go back to the lab, EliteAri. Leave the art to the smarties like me.
Right.
Now, anyway, there was a point of me bringing this up. Oh, but because you can see him like there's so much discussion about like ethics and there's so many references to like books and other pieces of literature all throughout, where it's very clear they're doing that. I think most of the time it is actually interesting because in this movie, EliteAri, you've got the great Charles Xavier, the good guy. You know, he wants to, even if the humans abuse us and want to kill us, we're still going to be virtuous and we're going to be self-sacrificial and, you know, we're just the cringe Avengers over here. The great Armin Arlet would love us. Except, actually, the Attack on Titan guys are really edgy and they're just going to kill people and, you know, stuff.
All right.
Doesn't matter. And then on the other end, we've got the great Magneto and he says, fuck these humans. Epic base. True. I'm in the Brotherhood, EliteAri. I am. I bet I would have the coolest power. I'd be class 5 by default. Now, then in the middle, EliteAri, you've got our main character, the Wolverine, and he doesn't really give a fuck about any of this. But how do we make the climax involve all three of these? He's got a little girl he's got to protect, EliteAri, and she's the one. So his motivation being that he has to save Rogue is like epic, and he's like in the middle and stuff, and that's like kind of where the audience probably is because maybe Charles is being a little too lenient, and maybe he should. And then these humans are really mean. I saw that Auschwitz scene, but then Magneto he goes a little bit too far, EliteAri. So Wolverine, we're allowed to audience surrogate with him, we're allowed to relate to him, and we're allowed to be centrist with him, EliteAri. And because we just want to save the great Rogue. Now, EliteAri, obviously the greatest thing in this first movie is the great relationship between Rogue and Wolverine. Now, I know what you're saying, EliteAri. Shut up, that's lame, you don't agree.
I agree. It was good.
Because the best, and I was like, whatever, there was part of me that was like, well, they're kind of like hanging out and they're pretending they like each other, but they've known each other for 20 minutes. Like when they were sleeping in the same room, I'm like, that's
Wait,
probably
were
shouldn't
they?
be allowed.
When was this?
What if, yeah, because remember she gets up and is like, well, wake up, Logan, and he fucking stabs her, bro.
Oh, that was a bit silly, but yeah.
But no, that was epic.
Why was she grabbing him without her
about.
gloves? But anyway, yeah, it was a little annoying. There's a little plot things like that in this that bother me, but...
Wait, what was it without the gloves? What's the problem?
Well, she knows her power. She knows that if she touches people, they'll die, and she's going to wake him up by not having gloves on.
She probably had gloves on, you're lying.
She didn't. No, that's the whole point, because as
Now-
soon as he stabs her, he just like, she grabs him. It's like, oh, that was a bit
Well,
silly.
she's got to touch him to do the thingy, EliteAri. Shut up.
Okay.
Now, the best scene in this movie, and probably the whole trilogy, is the scene with them on the train. And I didn't think I liked their relationship until they had a cute moment on the train. And then I was like,
True.
oh. And it was so perfectly timed because right after that she gets kidnapped. And the whole time I was like super motivated. I'm like, Wolverine's going to go save her, bro. This is epic. So yeah. That was epic, EliteAri. Truly great that all of this coincided and it climaxed in the final conflict. That was great. Don't listen to EliteAri.
Yep.
And maybe the first movie is the best one. Who knew?
I guess I have to say, I like their relationship. I was a bit scared that it was going to become like a romantic relationship.
They tease it, and they keep teasing
and it's like in the early 2000s, and maybe that was like a thing that movies did back then. And I was like, oh no, this better not go that direction. But no, it didn't. But yeah, so it was a little relieving that didn't happen, I guess.
It seems like she just is like, oh, my hot uncle over here, Wolverine, the great Daemon Targaryen over here. You know, maybe if Iceman would just fuck off for a second, you know, we sleep in the same room, ooh. But yeah, they're also doing a father-daughter thing, and it's also funny because I assume this is what's happening with the X3, the 23 character or whatever later. And oh my god, were they just referencing X1 with that great Logan movie? But also, everybody just calls that movie The Last. And that's the same thing, you know, we all love the father-daughter relationships. And also, Ellen Page, now Elliot Page, transgender EliteAri, get the pronouns correct, who plays Kitty Pryde in the third movie. Everybody very much criticized Ellie, the character, for looking exactly like that girl. And my God, in this movie, does she look like Ellie EliteAri?
It didn't even cross my mind, but yeah, I do remember that.
He tried to sue Naughty Dog, I think, and I
Oh
don't know
wow,
what
okay.
happened. It was a big deal. And then when we were doing a Last of Us movie and then we were doing a Last of Us TV show, everybody was like, "Oh my God, he should play her." So I'm getting the pronouns right, EliteAri. Pat me on the
Hmm.
back. I think by the time the show was being made, they were already definitely out as trans, so that probably wouldn't have worked, EliteAri.
Hmm.
But Philosophy Tube just played a male actor, so a male character, so who knows? Now, what was I bringing that up for?
Kitty Pryde. I even know at this point.
They look just like Ellie. It was crazy.
Okay, great.
Also, father-daughter stuff. Also, you didn't confirm nor deny if it's like the same thing in that Logan movie. But anyway, that was pretty cool. Best part about all these movies,
Hmm.
based. So smart. I'm true.
True, it was good. I like the relationship stuff.
Also, literally, their powers are like yin and yang. Like he's the only one that could like kiss her or something.
Hmm. Because of the healing. True.
True.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what to say. Yep. Good relationship.
True. What a great dot point I have. Oh my God, EliteAri's out of notes, so I got to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, the also EliteAri. Now this is a big funny thing that I'm talking about on the kind of funny thing. You know, whenever I watch something EliteAri, I have to bring it up every second of every day. I'm not going to pretend that I came up with something EliteAri. I give credit. You know.
Nice.
There's definitely ways they could have been fucking. Like, what if he just wore a condom? I'm talking about Iceman and
No, I know. For a second there, I was like,
yeah.
"What the hell are you saying?" But yeah, okay. Maybe I don't care.
Now, EliteAri, what you're supposed to say is, they just want to kiss and stuff. It's not just about the mechanics, EliteAri. You know, it's not just about thrusting. That's disgusting, you male.
Mm.
True. And also, like, and then I was thinking, I'm like, they can like hug each other and like lay on each other. And does hugging feel good because you like skin on skin touch? Because a lot of hugging isn't like that. But naked hugging is pretty fun. But it's not that much different, is it? And then I was just thinking, is this even that bad of a thing? And but anyway,
Well, I
she got
think
the cure
it's
at the end, Leary. But that's pretty cool.
I think it's more along the lines of she has to just have something in the back of her mind all the time whenever she's around him. Like, despite how much I want to like touch him, I can't. Like, it's just like she
True.
needs to always be aware of it, which is a bit like annoying, I guess.
But she can do quick kisses.
Well, I didn't take that as a quick kiss. I took it as like using ice powers to like put a gap between them or something. That's what I took.
But then they kissed more and he started to get hurt.
Yeah, because he was a bit taken over by the
He
kiss.
forgot to do his ice powers because he had a boner. I see.
Yeah.
Good point, Leary.
Because after the kiss, she like exhales ice or something. And I was like, oh, okay, it must be some ice related.
That was
thing.
epic. That was the hottest thing I've ever seen in my goddamn life, Leary.
Okay.
Now, this Rogue, in this first movie, there were parts where she looked like she was 14 a liter.
Yes, definitely.
But then I think I looked it up and she probably was like 17 when she was doing this stuff. Now,
Right.
when I just called that thing super hot, that was in the second movie 3 years later. Now, can you believe this, EliteAri? These fucking movies came out 3 years apart each time. Just like I'm pretty sure those Star Wars movies did that. Imagine if you're doing a trilogy and a movie's not coming out every like 6 months or something. Imagine waiting 3 years. This is crazy. You can't be doing this.
Okay.
Good thing we got to watch them all in a row, right, EliteAri? It's just crazy how that used to be the thingy. Like, you could go and you could do like 3 other movies and then come back to X-Men. And that's why that Nightcrawler dude didn't come back, EliteAri, because apparently putting that makeup on was like massively annoying. And he said, I
can believe that.
movie,
yeah.
Fuck you. Learn how to do CGI, then call me back.
Yep.
Now, EliteAri, let's talk about this right now. Now, this is coming out of nowhere. Nightcrawler's also in like first class or something, right? How's that working?
Wait, no, there's like a red Nightcrawler. He's like his dad or something. I don't know.
That's right. It's a red.
Yeah.
The red one's way cooler. What the fuck? I bet he was CGI. Wait, I vaguely remember this guy now. You just blew my mind. Now, EliteAri, try this one on for size. There's another Colossus and he's Russian in Deadpool. What's up with that?
So I think Deadpool got very positive reviews because it was more comic accurate, I think, right? I think that was the whole thing where people were like
Russian.
Yeah, people were happy because he was Russian and big, and I think same with Juggernaut. They were like, "Oh, he's like big and like comic booky."
Because he's in Deadpool too. I saw that in a YouTube short just last night. But I love this Juggernaut. He's funny and British.
I love this Juggernaut. Yes,
British.
Yep.
On the Juggernaut, bitch.
Yep.
That was pretty good until the bitch part.
It was great. Whatever the line was, I loved it. It was awesome.
No, not the line. My impression.
Oh, your impression. Yeah, it's true.
all about me, EliteAri.
Yep.
Now,
We're not up to that
there's
yet.
got
We're
to
on the
be other
first
ones.
movie.
Mystique wasn't Jennifer Lawrence. What was up with that?
Oh, Mystique was great in this, actually. I think I prefer this portrayal, at least from what I remember from the
No, Jennifer
other
Lawrence is
movies.
cool and funny and stuff, and she was in the Hunger Games, and I
You know
liked
what I
it.
remember? And I don't know if this is just like in my mind or whatever, and it's just not like this. I just remember that in those more recent movies with her, she was always in the human form, which bothered me
Yeah,
so
that's
much.
like a yes. Reddit says this every time, EliteAri.
It
Great
is a
Reddit
common
talking
opinion. Oh,
points
thank you,
user.
thank you. Yep, love it.
Yes.
But no, in this, I was so glad how much she was actually like as
Just
a
probably
new
she probably had
person.
the same problem. This fucking makeup takes forever.
It's crazy,
Fuck
yeah.
this stupid bullshit.
Yep.
But yeah, I know Jennifer Lawrence is pretty hot, EliteAri, pretty hot. So we should see her more. But I guess she probably looks even hotter in the fucking outfit, EliteAri, because she's like naked and stuff.
All right.
I'm prioritizing the right things. X-Men First Class is the best one. And her and Magneto used to have sex and stuff, but they're just kind of like, maybe? Magneto is definitely gay for Charles in this one, huh?
I don't know. I think they're like...
I'm pretty sure Patrick Stewart is gay. I don't think Ian McKellen is gay.
No, it's
but
the
I
other
bet
way
they-
around, right?
No!
Yes.
Patrick Stewart doesn't like girls.
Okay, I don't know. I know that Ian
Is
McKellen is gay. It's like
Patrick-
his one of the most famous
Why
like
don't I just get 7
outings or whatever, right?
Discord notifications, EliteAri? Is Minty talking
I
to
don't
me?
know.
Oh, he is. You just got the same
Now is
notification.
not the time.
Oh, well, maybe I shouldn't have got a fucking thingy here. Is Patrick stupid, I wrote. Stewart. Married? To a man, right? Is Patrick Stewart... Why was that an autocorrect? Like, I've Googled that before. Is Patrick Stewart gay?
I've never heard that.
Wasn't
maybe.
Patrick Stewart gay? Question mark. No, he is not gay. Columnist is something writes for the Guardian, mistakenly saying he was gay in an. Patrick Stewart not gay. Apparently, Ian McKellen is gay. I don't want to Google that, EliteAri, because every time I type, I knock the microphone and we do a little thingy. That's why we just cut out right now.
Just trust me. Okay.
I don't believe it. Now that's crazy. They were kissing and stuff. Now, we were talking about this because Magneto was fucking Mystique. Remember when Mystique tries to fuck that guard later, and it's like a really sexy EliteAri. Oh, another problematic thing. This was a thing from before EliteAri. All these bitches got cleavage shots, you know?
I don't even remember. I know Mystique is obviously naked half the time. I don't remember any other ones.
Storm in the second movie has got big boobs going on.
I don't
and
remember.
Actually, they've all got little boobs, but they're really like every time. It's like there's a shot, and then Rogue, especially in that second movie, definitely.
I don't remember this at all.
Jean Grey all the time. It was
Okay,
crazy.
you know what?
I'm like, this is the male gaze, bro. This is no good. Movies
I
have
don't know.
advanced.
I didn't notice. I
society.
did not notice anything besides Mystique. It didn't stand out to
EliteAri
me.
is the least horny man in the world. I said this on stream the other day. It's true. Now, also, lots of leg shots, EliteAri, because legs are sexy and stuff, especially with Mystique when she's fucking that guard. But she didn't actually fuck him. She just injected it with iron and then pulled it. Oh, we're not up to that yet, EliteAri. Everybody calm down.
Yep.
Now, male gaze bad. Now, next up point, I guess, EliteAri. I don't even remember which one we were on. Most obvious twist in the world with Rogue being the one Magneto wanted and not Wolverine.
Yes,
true,
it is.
True.
Yeah. My goodness.
That was great. And the funny thing is, it's like, it seems like Xavier figures it out, and the next scene, he's like looking at the wall trying to figure it out again, which was funny. But anyway, I said a very tightly written script. Everything is paid off. Oh my God, EliteAri, they just, every line that mentions something in the beginning of the movie comes back. Like they bring up the don't kick Wolverine in the balls thing or something, and then he kicks somebody in the balls later. And then there was a million other things like that. I wish I could remember them, but I don't. But there was like I don't know.
I'll take your word for it. I didn't even think about the balls thing. That's in the third movie you're talking about, right?
No, that's in the first one, but there is a callback in the third movie where he does kick somebody in the balls.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, crazy.
But no, that would include saying that the trilogy is tightly written, EliteAri. I'm just talking about the first movie.
Oh wait, who gets kicked in the balls in the first movie?
Oh, so the balls gets paid off. Maybe Wolverine gets kicked in the balls. I don't remember.
Okay.
But it definitely gets paid off, and there's a bunch of other little things where when it happened at the end, I was like, oh, they did tease that at the beginning. And I was like, oh, if I was a YouTube reviewer right now, I would be freaking out about how they didn't waste any seconds on non-plot related things or something. But they don't even like this movie, so they can't even do that part of their jobs right.
Right.
Some funny action scenes and special effects. By that, I mean bad, EliteAri, but we kind of already talked about that. They're maybe teasing Sabretooth and Wolverine stuff here, EliteAri, but maybe not. I don't know.
It felt a little bit like he was going a bit too hard on Wolverine when he wanted to instead get Rogue. I was like, I buy it. They have like some relationship. Maybe he slightly remembers Wolverine a little bit.
But aren't they like brothers or something and like love each other and stuff?
Yeah, they are. At least in the Origins thing. But Wolverine obviously doesn't remember. I don't remember if Sabretooth remembers or not.
Well, he's like grabbing the dog tag and stuff, so it seems like he might like be like, oh, that's my brother. but I'm not going to
Yep.
say anything. Does Sabretooth ever say anything? He just like growls. I
True.
think he does have some lines, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
because
isn't it
when
so
Xavier
cool?
takes over his mind.
He grabs his throat, and for a second you're like, oh my god, I don't remember Sabretooth turning on fucking Magneto here, but this kind of fits because Magneto's mean to him and stuff.
Yep.
But it wasn't. It
No, well,
wasn't.
I
That's
took it as, oh my gosh, even Sabretooth has a limit. He's not going to kill these innocent people. He's like signed up for
true,
this for
true.
like mutant rights and not to kill people. I was like, oh my gosh. But then I realized, no, just taking over the mind. Crazy.
Now I have some neat action set pieces. The train scene, that was pretty cool. And I'm not even talking about
Hmm.
them on the train, but Magneto blows the train open. And also they have a little fight in the train. Oh, male gay stuff. Sabretooth grabs Storm by the throat 2 different times and says, scream for me, EliteAri.
Okay. Is that a male gaze thing?
That's like the biggest porn sex thing of
He's
all
a
time.
villain.
Grabbing a girl by the throat and saying, scream for me. Now, it is funny that in 2000, I bet you that wasn't meant as a sexual thing. But if that happened in a Marvel movie today, it would Rocket Raccoon would fall over laughing. It would be so funny. But, you know, times have changed. There was something else a long time ago that I was watching that was old that had something like that, where they were like saying load or something a lot, and none of them were making coming jokes. And I was like, well, this is crazy. This would never fly in the 21st century. This movie was made in the first year of the 21st century. EliteAri, what a great joke from me. True, train
Is that
moment.
true?
Also, huh?
Is that true?
Yeah, 2000, right?
Is that the 20th century? When is that? Wait.
21st century, I said.
Oh, you did say 21st century. Okay. Cool. All right.
He needs to open his ears, this EliteAri. Now,
Now, doesn't the 21st century begin in 2001?
no.
I'm like 99% sure, but I mean, I could be wrong.
All I know is when you say the 19th century, it's actually to the 1800s, I think.
Okay, maybe it's the opposite. I guess, you know what? Leave a comment,
Because
please, guys.
you gotta do that thing in history class, in ancient history class. You gotta figure out the 11th century. Now that's not 1103, that's 1003. You know, Jesus was born in the year 1000.
That's not true at all, but yes, please continue, Kyle. Yep.
Oh, yeah, EliteAri wants me to cut out the jokes. Anyway, train scene. Also, Jean Grey got grabbed by the throat. Sexy. Now,
No, not at
you
all.
know, just not good, EliteAri. Not bad. Now, the guns on the cops moment, epic, EliteAri. The Statue of Liberty stuff, epic. Don't listen to EliteAri.
Yep.
Remember when Wolverine cut around the whole Statue of Liberty thing, and then it fell off?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Like the horn on his hat or whatever. I think it's a girl, the Statue of Liberty.
Oh,
right?
like when he
Lady
was out, when
Liberty.
he was getting thrown around. Yes, okay.
Yeah, and he like cut it and he spun around. It was epic.
Yep, that was
Truly
pretty sick.
spectacular. Now you remember this.
Some good action.
Lots of people disliking the movie because of characterization / screen time for most of the other characters, like the henchman and Jean Grey / Storm and Cyclops. That was a lot. That's what a lot of the criticism for. We kind of already talked about that. You know, they just all it is just Wolverine. Wolverine isn't even a good character. Cyclops needs to be the main character.
No, a Colossus needs to be, because we all love Colossus.
No, he's Russian. Themes and stuff. High literature. Oh my god, I already brought that up. Magneto and it being opposites and Wolverine being in the middle. True. Genius.
Yep, very good point.
And that's all my notes about the Great X1. This is crazy.
All right, fantastic. Now we have...
Is there anything else to bring up? Do you want to do a brainstorming thing? Jean Grey was at the Senate and stuff speaking, and they made fun of her. That was crazy.
Yep,
And then Magneto walked out like Eren Yeager.
Kyle, I was an idiot. I was convinced that was Mystique in that scene. I was like, oh my god, she's going to reveal that she's like a mutant or something. But no, it was Jean, obviously.
Wasn't my great Eren Yeager joke just now great?
Yes, very funny, yep.
It's literally the same thing. This is crazy.
Yeah.
But yes. And then they have a cool scene where Magneto doesn't turn around until the end, and he's talking to Charles.
There was a moment.
Like, oh my god.
This is like a very small detail. They obviously, Magneto and Professor X, they both meet outside that conference in that first scene, and you see them like talk to each other. And then next time you see Xavier is, I think, when Logan like goes to meet him in the school. He like accidentally runs into the room and is like, he's freaking out. It's like, what is this place? Then he runs in and Professor is like talking to all the kids and they're like, okay, that's it. Go leave, kids. And then he like wheels out of the chair and you see the wheelchair. And I was like, is this meant to be like a reveal? Or we're not meant to, is this like the first time we're seeing his wheelchair? Because it felt like that type of moment, I guess. But no, in the earlier scene with Magneto, we see that he's in a wheelchair. So it was a bit weird to me. But I guess it's just meant to show that Logan didn't know that he was in a wheelchair. But yeah.
Maybe. And then maybe they were showing the cool X he has on his wheels.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe that's it.
They've got a plane, EliteAri. Did you know that?
Yeah, they reference it many times. Apparently, it's really cool that there's like a plane in the basketball court or something.
Imagine if you had a jet, EliteAri. You'd think that was pretty cool.
No, I think it's very noisy and like blows wind everywhere, and I wouldn't want to have one.
And it's bad for the environment, and Taylor Swift is evil for having one.
Well, we don't know about this particular jet. This might be good for the environment. It's a really
True, it's
advanced
powered
one.
by a mutant.
Remember, if they can detect it, then it's they've earned it, or whatever they say.
True, because it's so fast and speedy and stuff.
Yep. All right, well.
Wait, I guess we didn't talk too much about characters. EliteAri, rank
not
the
mine.
4 X-Men.
In this first movie?
Yeah.
Wait, who are the four
They
X-Men
change
here?
much?
Wolverine, Rogue,
Cyclops, Storm. Oh, not Rogue.
Wait, what do you mean she's an
Cyclops,
X-Men?
Storm, and Jean Grey, the 4 X-Men.
Cyclops, Storm, Jean Grey.
Oh, and Storm has a kind of a bit of an accent in this one.
What? An accent? Is that what you said?
Yes, the funny thing everybody makes fun of is for half the movie she has an accent, and for half the movie she doesn't, and then in all the sequels she doesn't.
That's crazy you say that, because firstly, I didn't I don't remember any accent. But I do have a memory of a scene that I watched like many years ago that must be from another X-Men movie where she did have a really strong accent, and I was like, did they recast her? Like, what is this? Why does she have an accent?
They're probably like trying to get it back, like, oh yeah, she should have her accent. That's what the comics people want.
I remember thinking it was really weird, and I didn't like it. But no, I didn't notice any accent in it. You're saying in the first one she like was putting on like a bad accent.
Famous thing we're making fun of the movie for, EliteAri. It can't be not true.
Well, I don't know. Didn't notice it. Though, yeah. But if I don't have a rank for these. I know Wolverine probably the best. The other three don't like. I don't know.
Storm is cool, EliteAri. I like Storm. What happens when a toad gets electrocuted or something? That's a famous line people like to make fun of.
Same as everything else. Storm just has always, ever since childhood, she has greatly frustrated me because her powers take so long to charge up and attack. Every time I'm like, God damn it, it's so annoying. They're doing the same thing where the wind blows and the lightning strikes, and then finally she does her attack, and it annoys me every time. So I don't like Storm. She's my least favorite.
No, Cyclops is obviously the worst.
Cyclops is cool. I did kind of like him, especially in this movie. The charming, like, remember that line where it's like, if she was my girl, I wouldn't have to say it or something. Or like probably.
But then he said it at the end anyway.
Yeah, which is what's so funny because it's like he knows that he's not meant to say, but he says it anyway. That's the comedy there. I love it. I think Cyclops was great in this first movie, probably the best of the three movies. That is.
Why is Jean Grey a terrible girlfriend?
Because it's the early 2000s, Kyle. This is just how movies were.
True.
Yeah.
No, bitches are just evil, EliteAri. Fresh and Fit told me.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well. So there we go.
Also,
Wolverine, Cyclops,
EliteAri,
Jean Grey, Storm. There you go. That's the list.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares. Also, why didn't Wolverine just try and fuck Storm?
I don't know, because when he woke up from the nap after the
Jean Grey
Sabretooth
was
incident,
there.
Jean was there. He was the first eyes. His eyes
But isn't Halle Berry just so much prettier?
I would never comment on someone's physical
True,
appearance.
you would never rank them. But she's also single, EliteAri. That's pretty cool.
Wow. Okay.
Maybe she's married to the game. And the school and stuff.
All right, Kyle, we're moving on to the second movie, okay? So we have X2.
Oh, EliteAri wants to speed me up.
What a title, Kyle. X2. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's
Even
so
on
catchy
Google,
that now I start
X2.
calling the other ones X1 and X3 because it's just so perfect.
No, X2 is the only one. Now, why did they have to cuck out and put the X-Men United afterwards sometimes? That's lame. We don't like that.
It's like the whole Philosopher's Stone, Sorcerer's Stone. Oh, crazy.
Which is just a Philosopher's Stone because that's a cool word.
Yep. Okay, Kyle, for this movie, I have one thing, and it was immediate that I had. I just wrote a note straight away, which is that I was so excited to see the Nightcrawler scene, because when I was a kid, this was the coolest scene ever.
I just love the Nightcrawler.
Oh my gosh, he like broke into the president's office. He had a cool ability. He looked really cool. He looked like a kind of like a devil with like a spiky tail, and his dad even looks more like a devil because he's literally red and looks like the devil.
He's fucking red, brother. He looks like fucking Satan.
So basically, what I wanted to say is that this was the biggest mismatch between how much I remember liking something and how actually not as cool as I was expecting, kind of.
That's fine.
Because we have seen so many like cool action scenes with like teleporters and just superheroes in general and like infiltration missions and stuff.
And Quicksilver.
That Quicksilver one way later on, obviously. There's so many scenes we've seen like this that are just, this one is not as good as them. It's fun to like think about in retrospect. Like at the time, it was like very, I remember liking it. It was like nothing I'd ever seen. But now I've seen so many that
the first movie had the worst action of all time.
I don't agree with that. But this, it didn't stand out to me as particularly. I was like, oh, this is like a fun scene, but it wasn't as amazing as I remember, basically. But yeah, it was still cool.
Germans piss me off. Now,
wow.
It was kind of cool.
I agree. It was still cool. Just wasn't as
Because
amazing as I
yeah,
thought.
everybody talks about this scene. I remember watching this for the first time and not even like I don't remember noticing it. But I don't think
Oh
I
wow.
ever, when I was younger, noticed like an action scene and thought it was cool. I was based even back then
I
on
guess
kidding
I
scenes.
always
But
thought
then
that teleporting was really cool. So this was like a first time I'd ever really seen it in action. It was awesome.
teleporting is epic, Leadery.
Yeah.
Teleporting is
Like Goku's
cool.
instant transmission. Oh my goodness.
Like Naruto's dad's thingy, crazy.
Yeah. Like that guy in Mob Psycho 100. Oh my gosh.
Whatever that is isn't cool.
hmm
He's got a bowl cut.
But you know what is cool, Kyle? When we're talking about abilities here, when Charles Xavier freezes everyone at their like museum or whatever, and it's like, whoa, what happened here? This is so cool. That's like the coolest thing he ever does in all these movies. Like, what a cool ability. Just a psychic who decides to just freeze people. They're not actually frozen. They're not like telekinesis or anything. Just in their mind.
He didn't stop time because
Yep.
they're still on the phone. On the phone, the other end is still trying
Yep.
to talk to him.
I love it.
But maybe they freeze time at the end of the movie.
At the end of this movie, they freeze time.
Well, because they do this again in the president's office, but like the TV with the broadcast,
They turn the
wasn't
power off.
watching it. Oh my god, that's why it's dark. This is the craziest moment of my life.
Crazy. Okay, yeah. That was a good scene as well. But we haven't got to it yet. I mean, we probably could just talk about it.
Cyclops was fucking crying.
Was he? In the
Yeah,
president
because
scene?
Jean Grey
Oh,
just
yes,
died.
yes,
He,
you're
like,
right,
rushed
you're
his
right.
eye.
Yeah, sorry.
Now
Oh my goodness.
why does Wolverine like Jean Grey?
Because
That's
it was
like
the
an
first
old movie
eyes that
thing
his
where
eyes
it's just
saw,
like he just
unironically.
loves the girl immediately.
Yeah.
It's funny, but whatever.
Okay, well, let's see, what else? The plastic prison. Let's talk about this, Kyle. It's just the coolest thing ever. Like, the
Just pretty
concept,
cool,
the way
you
it
know?
looks, the way it's executed, the way it has that, like, little bridge that, like, spans from the side and, like, has, like, a little, like, what's the... E.T.? I think
Like
E.T. has, like,
a tunnel thingy.
Yeah, it's like a
No,
little tunnel
E.T.
thing.
lane.
It's sick. Just what a cool idea. And having all these plastic weapons and even just like how he gets out with the guy not eating too much, but having too much iron from Mystique injecting it. Like, that's all sick
Later, I
stuff.
have a science question.
Oh no, go ahead.
The iron in your blood's not the same as like iron, right? There's no way.
So iron is an element, right? You're probably thinking of, well, okay. I don't know that much, but my understanding is that in your blood, there is a compound that contains iron within it. So yes, like you can't reduce iron to something else because iron is an element. You can't like reduce elements to other parts. So yes, iron in the blood is iron in the blood. But when you're saying iron in the blood, you're probably thinking of something else, like a compound that includes iron.
But how can
yeah.
how can you make your blood into steel, bro? You can't do that.
Well, your blood would be composed of steel, right? It would have multiple elements within the blood, and one of those would be iron, and you could take the iron out of it. Now I'm no medical person.
That's fucking crazy, brother.
Yep. You're welcome, Kyle, for answering that question.
And you know, oxygen is like H2O.
That would be water, yes, but there is oxygen in the water in your blood. Yep, true.
Whoa, and you know, humans are like 70 to 12% water.
And that's because we have like 70% blood or whatever. Yeah, that is true.
Whoa, no way.
Oh my
I
goodness.
stopped listening in science class in like the 8th grade, Elitery, so I don't know what a igneous rock is.
Same.
No, you're a scientist.
Yeah, I am. Okay. What else? Too much iron in your blood. It's always been so cool. The Cerebro gets broken into twice. Isn't that crazy? Gets broken into in the first movie.
Don't you feel
Mystique
so
injects
bad for the
stuff.
fat guy that didn't get to fuck the pretty girl?
I don't know what you're even talking about.
I feel like this is when he gets injected with the iron in his fucking ass, Elitery.
Was he
Pay
fat?
attention.
I don't even remember him being fat.
He was a fat, schlubby-looking guard guy that used to beat up Magneto. Oh, it's so mean, Elitery. They're beating up Magneto, our favorite guy, and you just don't like these fellas.
Yep.
But then you feel bad for him because there's always the scene, Elitery, where the not good-looking guy, he's nearly gonna fuck the hot girl, but then the hot girl is playing a trick on him, and you're just like, man, one day it's like the coyote, Elitery. One day he's gonna catch the little road
I've never had that thought in my mind. I've never watched one of these scenes and be
this
like,
is
oh,
an
this
old
poor
thought,
guy.
Elitery. This is something I used to think about so much when I was like 10 or 11. I was like, man.
Great.
This was like in wrestling, Elitery, when in the middle of the pay-per-view, between the matches, they'd have the girls come out, the girl wrestlers, and they would do like a bikini contest. And every time, sometimes they would be like, oh, I got a bikini, and she'd take it off, and she'd have an even smaller bikini. And I'm like 10 years old, and I'm like watching her, I'm like, one day, Elitery, she's going to take the bikini off, and she's going to be naked. But it never happened, and this is the same feeling, and I got it again watching this poor scene. Just let the fat guy have sex with that pretty girl,
the fat
Elitery.
villain guy who's in this like illegal prison.
Yeah, he's a prick. We hate this guy.
Yep. My goodness.
If a pretty girl ever starts talking to you, Elitery, you just know she's gonna knock you out and
you gotta
put
be
your needle in your butt.
Yep. All right.
Elitery's a fat guy, guys. Chat.
Oh, I'm a what? A fat guy?
You're a fat guy.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Yes, true. Um, okay. Do you have any notes, or should I continue, Kyle?
Well, I have two notes on X2 that I made. One says Long and the other one says Current and Future King. Now, I don't even think that's the title, but this is the book they reference like 3 times in this thing
Current and
because we're
future
trying to be
king?
high literature. Now, it's not actually called Current and Future King because I looked it up right before this and it was like it wasn't current. It was a different word that means current. It was a synonym, if you will.
So, are you
Um,
referring to when Charles Xavier is talking? No, the ethics one is in the third one where he's talking about
Yeah,
like
but it's
the.
the same scene. He is reading a book to them at the
Okay.
beginning of the second one or something.
Yep.
And then it comes up again later where he's like, Magneto was like, "Have you, Pyro Man, ever read this?" He doesn't talk to Pyro because they don't become friends
Right.
until the end.
Yep.
But he's talking to somebody, and I'm like, I'm sure this has some thematic purpose, and we're all supposed to know what this is. And the movies do this a little bit with this
Yeah.
ethics stuff and stuff. I looked it up. It's like a King Arthur book or something. I don't fucking know.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, lame. Stop trying to be smart. But X-Men's actually smart.
True.
Ethical questions, EliteAri.
There is the. I guess we haven't got to this yet, but there is the ethical. The interesting element of Charles Xavier that I'd never really thought about before, which is that he's manipulative, right? He doesn't tell Logan his backstory. He's obviously manipulating Jean to not be who she is. These are like ambiguous moral things he's like done, and it's like,
Conundrums.
yeah, it's like he's not completely. He isn't just always making the right choices. He is fallible. We don't really know what
It is
his.
funny because at the beginning I thought he was just like Dumbledore. He was just the good guy.
Yeah,
I guess Dumbledore's also supposed to be a little bit shady later on. You're supposed to learn or
that's like
something.
way
Like,
later on, but yeah.
Aberthorpe can suck my dick. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Now, so when I'm watching X1 and I'm like, oh yeah, he's just not telling Wolverine because he should figure it out for himself. That sounds
Yeah.
like something smart. Yeah, true. But then it is the Jean Grey stuff. Now the Jean Grey stuff was probably justifiable. This bitch is crazy. We got to hold her down. But
Mhm.
then there's some other things in the third movie, I think, where you're actually supposed to question him. And then EliteAri, I was watching the Kind of Funny Guys, and apparently they were talking about how in the comics, Charles Xavier is sometimes like a shady guy, and he's like hiding things from people and
Mhm.
manipulating them to do what he wants and stuff. So I was like, oh, maybe this character is supposed to be a bit of a shady little fella. But in my head, it was just like Magneto, bad guy, and Charles Xavier, the goodest of good guy. But I guess
Mhm.
that's not true.
It is kind
Because he
of
takes over that dude's body at the end of the third one in the post-credits
yeah.
scene.
There is inherently like with his power comes like it is inherently an immoral power, like to
It's like
penetrate
that.
someone's mind and like take either read their thoughts or control them. Like it's very very violating, just inherently. So if I were in his position, I would like vow never to use it, right? Because that's like the most moral thing to do, unless you're saying like to protect the greater good, I guess. But yeah. Anyway,
True.
he's evil, basically. Conclusion. We hate Charles Xavier
True.
here, except for how cool he is.
We're
when
glad
kills
he got
people.
killed.
We are, because that was sick. Oh my gosh, that was like the coolest thing in that movie. All right, well then I'll say my next note, which is this movie X2. It has that stereotypical early superhero movie trope of the family who hates or is afraid of the mutant kid who has cool powers. I hate it every time. My goodness, why he can do ice? Like ice is cool. It's not like he like if it was the fire guy, I'd be like, okay, I can
a
understand.
lot of
why
it
you'd
is
be
stupid.
scared,
It's like, yeah, it's like it's not even like.
like he throws your
Why are
little
we
tea
freaking out
thing.
about
He can obviously control it like pretty good. Like look at that. He doesn't even have to do it. Like
I think it's supposed to be a social pressure thing because EliteAri, if you didn't know, this scene was written like it was like you were coming out as being gay and stuff. Oh my god, let's make a bunch of
right.
videos about this. Oh, this is so cool.
Mm.
Which is definitely the allegory they're going for because they're not like, yeah. I don't think it's like, oh, they're dangerous and stuff. It's just like you don't want to be the guys with the kid that's a mutant because then they're gonna ostracize you at your reading club on Sunday. That's church.
Yeah, but then you like I don't know. I don't know if I buy it.
Do you ever because you're always like, my mom would never disown me no matter what. But then
wait,
like
me
people
or like
do get
people in
disowned for
general?
being yes, that's what I'm thinking in general.
Okay,
And
yeah.
then you're like, people do get disowned for being gay and being trans in the modern day, right? So
Yeah, there are
maybe it's
people. Yeah, of course. There's people who have certain values that they wouldn't even allow their kids to have. I guess in this scene, it's a mix, right? Because initially they don't say much. The parents don't have much of a reaction. They're kind of like shocked, and the mom is like, "Oh, it's all my fault" or whatever. They don't really like chastise him or anything. But then afterwards, they're all like looking at him out the window, and they're like giving him like evil looks, and I'm like, "Oh, okay." I guess they're like
that is after the Pyro Man fucks up the police, but that was pretty epic. I love Pyro Guy.
Yeah, so I don't know. Evil
weird,
family. They're an evil family. That's
some white suburbanites. We got to get rid of them, EliteAri.
Yeah, not true at all. The stereotypical.
We'll just read them out, EliteAri. We don't have to.
All
kill
right,
them.
let's.
Calm
No,
down.
this is okay.
We're important immigrants. We don't care what they think.
Okay, now if we're talking about family stuff and accepting people, let's talk about the actual most interesting thing in this movie, which is the whole Stryker and his kid, and the fact that like he has this interesting backstory where it seems like he wanted to help his kid initially.
To the temple.
Yeah, he sent him to Charles Xavier. You know, they have a history. He sent his kid there to kind of help him, and he takes it as though Charles, you know, corrupted this kid or like put bad things in his mind, and eventually led to his wife's own death. I think it's really interesting. I didn't remember anything about Stryker, of course. The only thing I remember about him is that it was in Origins Wolverine.
I just realized it's an Xavier parallel, and it's exactly what you were just talking about. Not only because he's in a fucking wheelchair, but he's got like a mind control power, and he used it poorly, and Charles didn't get to like, he didn't teach him good enough, and so when he went back, he was fucking with his parents. Oh, that's pretty smart. X2, genius movie.
Wait a minute. What is smart about that? What do you mean?
Because it's just a little parallel, and parallels are cool.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, sure.
And it's
we
like
can agree on that.
And stuff.
Yeah. But this it makes Stryker an interesting villain because he wasn't always like kind of so against.
He was like abusing his son. I think I confused like combined this guy and the X3 dad.
Yeah, the X3 guy.
The same person. But even that guy's not that abusive. It's just I don't know. But yeah, true. Stryker was like evilest of evil, but his backstory wasn't so evil. But
he might not have always been evil. We don't know. But then if we watch Origins Wolverine, maybe he was.
That's true. He is the guy in that. I forgot about that.
Yep. But I guess talking about this, I referenced this very briefly before, but his son, like in the wheelchair, just staring, like that one shot we always get of him just staring with like one eye really like open and like looking at Charles Xavier. That always like scared me as a kid. It's so like
I didn't remember it at all.
Oh, I remember it so much.
I didn't remember anything about a wheelchair guy or nothing.
You know what I remember?
Like, son. I think I assumed his son had like died or something, and that's why he hated.
I remember not understanding this actually when I was a kid. And I remember thinking, why is this guy looking at him and what is this? But I remember thinking it was so scary that this guy's just looking at him and is like torturing him or something. Oh my gosh. But yeah, crazy. And also like the fact that he's like a little kid when he's in Charles's mind, but like in reality it's just like this weird like disabled
little
man,
girl,
like,
right?
Was it a little girl? I just assumed it was like a young kid. I don't know. Maybe it's a girl.
There's a genius part in this EliteAri that was like, I swear when I was watching it, I tied this into something thematically and thought it was genius. It's when Stryker is talking to the guy in the wheelchair who is then speaking as the girl to Xavier. And there's a different context to everything. And I was trying to be like, oh yes, different contexts of mutant saviors. And that's like the thing. But he would say like, tell him to find every one of them. And like Stryker's saying it all menacingly. He would say the kid actor would then say the exact same thing in like a happy tone, and it would make sense. And it would be like, oh, a little kid asking you like when you're like showing him something on the computer, and you're like, oh, show me all of them or something. It was just a great little like, oh, they're saying literally the exact things, but the same thing, the same phrases, but they mean a whole. It's like context and stuff. It was cute and clever filmmaking.
The thing there was one. I don't know if you'll remember this, and I don't even know if this happened, okay? But there was one cool execution thing about this, which is that I think at some point they start off by showing that you've got the guy whispering in his son's ear, and then you flash to inside like Charles's mind, and you see that it's actually a kid talking to him. Well, that happens a few times in like one scene, and then what we see is that it's just like in the real world. We have Charles speaking, even though his actual mouth isn't moving, because we're just like hearing the voices that are happening in his head. And then we also see the disabled like kid, not the kid, there's the disabled adult guy in the wheelchair in the background. He's talking, but we see we hear the voice of the kid coming out of him, and I thought that was really cool. It's just like one shot we get, I think. Now maybe it didn't happen, maybe I made that up. But it was cool because it's like one of those moments where it's like you hear the voice of the kid coming out of the body of the disabled elderly man or whatever. It was a bit scary and creepy and cool. So yeah, maybe it didn't happen though.
I don't know. I can't remember these things,
What about? Do you remember, however, the scene where they're all in the jet and you got like Mystique and Magneto and they're like giggling about Rogue's hair?
Yes. Why were they so mean?
I don't know, it was cute. I liked it. It's a little.
No, I didn't like it. It's like, oh, we have to remind everybody that Magneto's a bad guy because he's going to turn on them in the end.
I took it completely differently. I said I took it as like a humanization moment where it's like, oh, look at them giggling together. They're like friends and stuff.
It's so mean. Shouldn't he like?
I mean, it's not that mean. He
wasn't picking on her on purpose. It was just convenient that she had the right power he needed for his plan that EliteAri said didn't make sense. But now they're like giggling about, oh, we nearly killed you, dumb bitch. Your hair is permanently ruined.
It's pretty funny, yeah. I liked it.
She's like, Why?
Because
No,
it's
it
just
was bad. It was
it.
like dumb, evil characterization. It was
How
like
is it
bad
evil?
stuff.
Okay,
Because they're laughing about how they nearly killed this girl.
okay. I get your
And it
point.
makes no sense. What were they actually saying? Were they like, Tee, look at it. Remember when we kidnapped this bitch and hung her up on the thingy and tried to kill her and then her hair fucking
You know what
changed?
they
Giggle,
said?
giggle.
Magneto, no, Mystique probably said something like, something funny about like a gray bit of her hair, and then Magneto was like, "Oh, that's right," or something, and then they just giggled, and it was just like, "Oh, look at her gray hair," and that was it. Like maybe she made a joke about, "Oh, she looks a lot older," and then Magneto's like, "Oh, yes, she does," and
Remember, audience,
that's what I
Magneto
interpreted.
is evil. He's gonna turn on us in the end. We can't actually
Hmm.
have an interesting character here.
It's really interesting. You took this as like a cartoonishly evil thing. I took this as
Lazy
very
writing moment,
humanizing.
Eliteary. That's what I took it as.
This was the most humanizing moment of Magneto, where for once I was like, wow, there's actually more to him than his grander villainous purpose. You know, he likes to joke about this woman with her little like gray streak in her hair. Yeah, so I don't know, interesting,
Terrible, absolutely terrible.
absolutely
Mystique is so cool,
fantastic.
bro. I do definitely remember like watch. There's no way I watched like First Class first, right? But for whatever reason, I was like, oh, this is the fake Mystique. When's Jennifer Lawrence showing up? Or I think maybe I just watched it expecting this to be Jennifer Lawrence, and I just really couldn't tell. And then when she turned into human, it wasn't Jennifer Lawrence. I was like, what is this girl? Um,
Hmm.
but she was like the best part. She was great. Remember when she breaks in at the end of the movie and she just beats everybody up, like every guard? And yeah, that
Yep.
was epic.
All right, perfect.
Also, did you know she's like Nightcrawler's mum in the comics?
I do remember something like that. I don't remember why I know that. Was that in First Class? Did
Do you
they
think she
reference
fucked
that?
the red guy?
Yeah, I guess she would have to, right?
But what's Magneto think about that?
I don't know. I don't remember the details of that movie.
Magneto was fucking her. I remember they came out of their room and it's next to
No, but she
Xavier's
was like
room.
Charles' sister or something, right? Because she was there when
She was his
oh yes,
adoptive
and there was the
sister, I
kid
think.
where as a kid she like shows up in his house,
Breaks
and
in and
yeah,
yeah.
she's like a little like
But
blue girl. It was like cute. I remember that.
but then they come out of Magneto's room next door and they're both in bathrobes, like they just
Unbelievable.
sexted.
How could they do
That
that?
means something different. There was no phones back then.
Mm.
Now, lots of sex towards these last two movies. You know, we were getting a little raunchy, especially with Jean Grey and Wolverine on that thingy later.
Mm.
Crazy. She mined his belt off. That was pretty hot.
Yeah, but that was the Phoenix. That wasn't Jean Grey. Okay.
She was the evil Phoenix. The evil Phoenix, that alien, gets a little horny sometimes. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, and X2 they nearly fucked, but it's just Mystique. And then Wolverine doesn't want to fuck Mystique. What the fuck was he thinking?
Well, he was like, oh, you're not who I thought I was.
It would be
What
very
you thought you
unethical
were.
to make Mystique turn into people and then fuck them EliteAri. That would probably be like tantamount to rape in a lot of people's eyes. But
Yeah, that is a thing in The
just fuck
Boys
normal
season 4.
Mystique. Definitely in
People talk about it.
2003, EliteAri, we thought it was awesome. Oh, I can't wait until this is reality. But now that's not good EliteAri. But
Mhm.
also, just fuck Blue Mystique. What the fuck are we doing here?
Maybe
But
he
maybe Mystique
hates
didn't
her.
want to. Like she didn't want to fuck that ugly guard. It's always Wolverine fucking
Remember,
Mystique. You ever noticed?
remember when she turned into a statue in that museum in the first movie?
True, that was epic.
That's
The fucking guys
crazy.
were so mad about that EliteAri. They thought
Okay.
that was like this fucking movie, and then she can just turn into inanimate objects. This doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
I was just like,
But
that was
it makes
bro.
perfect sense because she can turn into like humanoid looking things, and that kind of looked a bit human like. So I bought it, but it was kind of funny at the same time.
Kind of funny, was it?
Yep, kind of funny. Yeah. Kyle, I only have one note left for this movie, by the way. The scene talking to the president is kind of cool because they're
True,
trusting
kinda
that he's
talked
going to
about
make the right choice. They leave it in his hands, which was awesome.
True, they don't make him do it. Isn't Alkali Lake the coolest name ever?
It is, but what is that? Is that where the stuff was taking place?
Yeah, it's the whole climax happens at Alkali Lake. That's where they turned
Okay.
Wolverine into a Wolverine.
Yeah.
And you came to me, Logan. You wanted it. Oh, crazy! What's gonna happen? Can't wait for X-Men Origins Wolverine, the greatest
Yep.
movie of all
And he
time.
gets
according
drowned to
EliteAri.
death by being tied up by chains by
And
Magneto.
this sexy girl, EliteAri, this sexy girl Wolverine gets electrocuted, and then he makes her eat adamantium. You think because I was watching this thingy and I was like,
She's
how does she lose? And then she gets electrocuted, but then she's not fucking dead, EliteAri. That was the craziest jump scare of my lifetime, greatest moment of all time.
Yep.
He's aciding people's necks. That's pretty freaky. He's there was so much. They were at this fucking Alkali Lake for like 50 minutes, EliteAri. Jesus Christ.
Yep.
And then Cyclops is a bad guy. They like kidnap Cyclops at the beginning and Charles Xavier. That was crazy. And then Storm, and they went to the church where Nightcrawler was. That was crazy. And Storm was super cool. Why isn't Wolverine fucking her? This is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then they nearly have a plane crash. That scene was epic. And Rogue goes out the back, but Nightcrawler saves her.
Oh,
And
that
then
was sick. Yeah. Oh
Magneto
my gosh.
stops him. It was the greatest
That
thing
was
of all
also
time.
great. Yep.
And
Magneto
then
stops
Storm
him.
called down some thingies to like fuck up the other planes. That was the most epic thing of all time.
Yep. And we felt the power of the U.S. government because those planes were keeping up with them. And like,
True.
hell yeah.
True. They're a great plane. How did they keep up?
All right. Well, that's the X2 that everyone loves, Kyle. The best X-Men
True.
movie that's ever been made, according to some people. Now we
True.
have X3. And Kyle, the first note to say about X-Men The Last Stand is that Beast is in this. And I was waiting. I thought that he was in the first one.
I thought he was in 2 too.
Well, yeah, I watched the first one. I was like, oh, he's definitely in this. And then he wasn't. And I was like, oh, he must be in the
No.
next one. But no, he wasn't in the next one either. He's in the third one. And he's so cool. I don't know what it is about it. It's just like his voice, the way he looks, like the acting is just, it's so good. I don't know why. Like the fact that he's wearing
such a
suit,
nice young man.
like,
when he
yeah.
meets that leech guy that takes the powers or something, it said leech on his code name or something, EliteAri. I'm not calling him a mean name.
Yeah, true on the paper.
Shut up, EliteAri. And he was so nice to this cure boy. He was like, your gift is fabulous, young man. And he walked away. I'm like, oh my god, Beast is so cool. Now, I remember everybody freaking out and liking Beast, but I mostly remember First Class Beast and thinking he was a little freak with his blue feet, and that was annoying me, so get out of my fucking face.
Yep.
But this guy was pretty epic, EliteAri. I liked him.
Yeah, because it's literally, he is just like a everyday government official, but he just looks different. That's kind of what's so interesting about it.
He's an exceptional everyday government official. What a young man.
Yeah, he's like a really good one.
There was a new president in this one, EliteAri. A long time passed.
That is true, yeah.
And it's interesting that they always say in the not so distant future, EliteAri.
In the not so distant... No, that's because when they were in the machine, right?
That.
In that big fighting machine.
Yeah, that's like one of the future things, I guess.
Because this movie starts with a flashback, right? You go back and you see them 20 years in the past where...
Talking to Jean Grey, and and then
we're
coming back and...
So
yes, and he's walking around while he's bored, which the First Class is going to retcon. Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Just epic stuff.
Yep.
Epic stuff. And then 10 years later, and that little kid's trying to cut off his wings and stuff. Turns out that character wasn't a thing. He's like in like 3 scenes. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, I really like this. This scene with the kid cutting off his wings was really cool. I thought it was very believable, or like realistic, or grounded, I guess is probably the best word. Where it's like if you are growing up with like a parent who is like either abusive or like very conservative in their beliefs or something, and you have to like repress, like you have to go to the extent of like mutilation here to kind of hide that aspect of yourself. I thought it was really interesting. A lot darker than I guess anything else in any of these movies, like in my opinion.
It was very bloody, EliteAri, and he had a bunch of tools.
Yeah.
But I didn't like that kid's face. It pissed me off.
Okay, I don't remember the face.
This is why boys get aborted, EliteAri, and we're only having daughters.
Oh wow, okay, interesting.
Because little kids piss me off.
All right.
Boys.
So Kyle,
especially that age, EliteAri, ill.
There is a big element in this movie, which is the moral dilemma of taking the cure. So what side do you come on? Should the cure be allowed to be made? Should the cure be optional?
You should be allowed to take the cure if you want, EliteAri.
Okay.
Like
so
the
Rogue didn't do anything
does.
wrong, right?
So she can have slamming sex with Iceman later, if he's not cheating on her.
Well, she'd have to move out, right? She can't just live at the mansion if she doesn't have powers. Doesn't make sense.
True. Do you think she gets to live there now? What a great thing.
Absolutely no shot. She does not get to live there, because that would make everyone else feel like so weird.
Wolverine would be like, of course she can live here.
Mm-hmm.
How old is Iceman? Come on, he's got to be graduated now. Come on, go get a house. What are we doing?
That is all. That's my headcanon, that they just like both left, I guess, at that point. Which is fair. I guess I'm on your side, Kyle. You know, people should be allowed to take the cure if they want. I think marketing is a cure. Jesus Christ, Kyle! Oh my goodness. Marketing it as a cure is kind of crazy, and they probably shouldn't do that. That's like the biggest mistake they made, I think. Because if they just marketed this as like, we have an optional, like, if you want to suppress your powers or something, it's completely voluntary. I think people, the world at large, probably would have been way more okay with it than portraying it as a cure and giving fuel to Magneto's cause, I guess, that it's something that has to be cured. So yeah, crazy moral dilemmas.
EliteAri, if there was a bunch of people that started spurting out and we called them mutants, but they all, if they trip over and stub their toe,
they turn into Titans?
They explode like the Colossal Titan and destroy like 3 neighborhood blocks. We just gotta fucking genocide them, right?
No.
Why not? I'm genociding them.
Because we value other people, okay? And we know that they don't intend to do harm to us, so we should work with them and try and create...
Since when does intent matter?
I think intent matters a lot. If someone is trying to harm you, then yeah, then maybe you should try and like,
So Jimmy on the weekend, he's just going to drink and drive. He doesn't intend to hurt anybody. EliteAri thinks he should just get off scot-free when he runs over those 3 kids.
You're saying we should separate
Got
that
him.
guy from society before he does anything wrong because he's not intending to do it. That's what you're saying, right?
Well, no, that takes some actions. These poor mutants, they just explode when they stub their toe.
Yeah, so you would be saying that even you're okay. What I'm saying is
put him in jail, cut off the toes, EliteAri, and then you can live.
What I'm saying is that after they stub the toe and then they like kill a bunch of people, then you can lock them away, okay? But before they do it, I don't think that we should be like enacting a thing in society where it's like, okay, we need to exterminate these people who've done nothing wrong.
We probably should exterminate the Eldians.
No, I don't agree with that. I think you should work with them. I don't know what you would want to get their perspective first. It would depend on the details, right? Like, what do they want? Are they willing to like say be segregated from society into like their own like little thing? Like, I have no idea what they want. It would depend on that.
Should you be able to shoot somebody that comes onto your property, EliteAri? You don't know what they're intending to do. Yeah, that's self-defense if they're just pulling out a single piece of grass.
Of course, yeah.
So, these people existing across the road that could explode at any time, you don't see that as a form of self-defense?
What, are they going to intentionally cause you harm?
No, that's the problem. They might be unintentional, but they're going to kill your kids.
Yes, that's why we should have some discussions with their representatives of their community, and we would all come together and then come to some agreement.
They should all live in their own little thingy. We should put them in a camp. Good idea, EliteAri. Good idea.
No, that's why we have a discussion and we see what they want, okay? And then we come to a mutual agreement.
They want. They're an existential threat to us.
Well, we would want to see what each side wants, and we'd come to a negotiation agreement, and then we'd all be happy, and the future would be great.
EliteAri, this is the problem with X-Men, They make race realism true. This is a problem with Attack on Titan. Racism in the real world is bad, EliteAri, because race is unreal, EliteAri. There's no difference between black people and white people. They're not actually evil little monsters prone to crime, like, your favorite YouTubers say. I know you're a big Nick Fuentes fan.
That's not true. Not true. Very not true.
Hey, I just advocated for genociding people. You can take some of these bullets.
No.
Now, what was the point here? Oh, yeah. So this is like a big bread tube critique of stories that do this, EliteAri, that I think is an interesting critique sometimes. And I was trying to apply it to X-Men here through a funny hypothetical of toes exploding and stuff. But you won't believe I came up with that on the fucking spot, EliteAri.
Impressive, yeah.
Now, isn't it interesting, EliteAri? You make a race real. Because the point is, if you make that other race turn into fucking Attack on Titans, then you show that you should still love them. It's like, well, if you can love the Titan people in this fake world, you can definitely love the black fellas. They don't do nothing wrong. They don't transform into Titans. You're fucking American racists. So, it's always interesting. But sometimes the bread tubers are like, you're validating racism by giving them an actual reason to be racism, when in real life there was no racism. But then later you just say, it's just a story.
Thank you, Kyle. This is great. Who knew that movies could have such a profound discussion surrounding them about ethics?
EliteAri doesn't want to engage with the topic. He's disgusting.
Well, I gave my stance, okay? We're going to have a nice... If it was up to me, if I was the president of this world...
EliteAri's a total egalitarian.
I would get the mutants to nominate a representative, and as the president of the humans, I would meet with them, and there would be a succession of like 20 different meetings across like 5 years, and we'd come to some resolute like conclusion where we can have a nice agreement on both sides where everyone is happy. That's what I would do. But I didn't go through the Holocaust like Magneto, so I guess I can understand he's a bit he's a bit hesitant.
Remember when he's like, I've got a mark, love. I'm never gonna put tattoos on me.
That was a cool scene. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
And you didn't notice those girls' boobies, EliteAri. That's what you're gonna tell me?
I am actually gonna say that. Yeah. I don't even remember them. Did they have like a bunch of
the male gaze? My goodness, EliteAri. Very tight tops with lots of cleavage on the top.
Oh boy. See, I'm part of the problem because I'm the oblivious people who don't know about it. So
True, you don't recognize the female suffrage like me, EliteAri. Yeah. A true feminist. Check the Twitter bio.
Yep. All right. I guess we'll have to rewatch these and focus on that. All right, Kyle.
Fucking Jennifer Lawrence is gonna show up soon.
No, I was gonna say Juggernaut. The concept of his like power, his mutation or whatever, is the coolest thing ever. Where if he builds up any momentum, he can't be stopped. What a cool idea! Oh my goodness.
Somehow I got that spoiled for me in the rewatch. Maybe it was in one of the kind of funny things they mentioned it, but somebody was like, because I don't remember Juggernaut's power. He's like strong or something. And then somebody said like, oh, he has like the power of momentum, and like once he gets going, you can't stop him. And I was like,
cool.
Oh, that's crazy. But also, how does he ever get stopped? He gets stopped every episode, I'm sure.
Mm.
But you just got to come up with a way. Like he loses his power. Because then I was thinking, like I remember he just like runs through the. What I remembered was he just kept running through the thing until he got to like the last one, and he had lost momentum and like hit the last wall and was like, oh, Kitty
Yeah.
Pryde can run through walls infinitely. You can't, dumb
Mm.
man, dickhead. But
Right.
no,
Right.
that's not what happened. Oh, that was cool. She runs in and she can't go through the wall and she freaks out, and then he runs in and then he's like, just stay here, and they push. It was pretty cool.
You know what's crazy? I
Why'd
was
they
I
kill
was
that
right
doctor
there with
lady?
her, Kyle. I completely forgot that she can't run through the walls when she's near the guy. So yep, I fell for it too.
No, I saw that part coming when I was watching it, EliteAri. I'm like, uh-oh.
Mm.
But yeah. Why'd they kill that doctor lady? You remember that? They just spike her at the end. She didn't do anything wrong. That was mean.
She is the one who is building the extermination juice. So I think that you probably should get rid of
The
her. She's
cure.
evil. Yeah.
But
No, the
she didn't even,
extermination
like,
juice.
in the first scene with the son when they're going to inject it, she's, like, trepidatious a little bit, whereas the father's trying to talk him into it.
Yeah,
So I was like,
she is
alright.
portrayed as like a neutral. Like she has a nice talk with the Beast guy, saying like, "Oh yeah, we're following all the protocols, and he's being treated well." And she doesn't like do any weird like. We don't get any
True,
scenes where it's like
he
she's
had
evil or
video
anything.
games in there, EliteAri. I don't know why
Yeah,
his cell had to be white and why his head was shaved like he was a cancer boy, but he was. But
yeah,
I don't know, he had a video game. That was a very good performance from that kid actor. Now that I'm thinking about it, he
yeah.
definitely felt like a real kid.
Yep.
That was cool. What a little fella.
And it is kind of interesting. We never see. Yeah, we never get a scene where he's like, "Oh, I don't like it here," or like, "Oh, I wish I could go back to my family," or anything. And there's just nothing. Like it's all good. The
His family
movie is
probably hate him.
everything is going really well in this movie, like for the good guys, until they like reveal that Mystique gets shot by a makeshift or a gun, I guess, that they were planning to make. And it's like, oh,
True, she
the
took a
government was
bullet
making
for him,
guns.
EliteAri.
And it's just like the Avengers 2012 reveal where it's like Nick Fury is using the Tesseract to make weapons. And it's like, oh my goodness, the damn government.
Oh my god, I forgot
Why
about
are they
that.
doing this? Why do they always make
God.
it bad?
Remember MCU Phase 1? I remember it as well as I remember these movies, EliteAri. I watched the
Mm,
Avengers a bunch of times, so maybe I watched that. That was like my favorite movie when I was 12, EliteAri.
it was a good movie.
Great Avengers. And then it fell off a cliff, with that second movie.
That was also
No,
pretty good.
nah, Age of Ultron sucks, brother. Sucks.
Mm.
I have mutants in that. It's the Great Scarlet Witch. That's
No, she's
Magneto's
powered.
daughter.
She's powered by the Soul Stone, I think, or something.
No, that's her husband, idiot.
Her husband? Oh,
Yeah,
Vision.
Vision.
No, I think they both are. That's the whole point, right? That's why she can control
I
his
don't know. I
stone.
watched like one movie where they had a scene
Oh,
together. I didn't
I've
actually
seen
watch
Agents
the
of
shit.
Shield where they actually give the backstory to like the Tesseract
I
being
swear to God, he
stolen
just
and
said
stuff.
Asians of Shield. That was crazy,
Yeah,
EliteAri. You
Agents of
showed your
Shield. I
racism.
do watch that. Magneto turning on Raven so quickly is wild. True. That was kind of crazy.
Why you call it a Raven, EliteAri? Are you on first name basis?
I don't
with
know.
the
Actually, I
sexy
just read my note out. Why did I say it? Maybe in that scene they called her Raven, I guess.
Raven's from DC. He hangs out with Robin. She.
Yes. I was thinking of That's So Raven when you were saying that, and I was like, oh, I guess that's a DC thing. It was on like Nickelodeon. I don't know. Magneto's screaming to tell Jean to stop because he doesn't want his oldest friend to die. He goes,
That was
Charles.
very sad, EliteAri. That was crazy.
Yeah.
But Magneto totally deserved it, bro. He was egging her on. What did he think was going to happen, stupid idiot? Magneto's a little dumb in this one, huh?
Yeah, because in the end, he's like, I've gone too far. And it's like, well, now you realize? Like, okay, it's kind of
That was
crazy.
funny.
Yeah, that came out, that was a bit weird. It came out in a...
He is
it
very
came
like
too
a
quickly.
Machiavelli a little bit, where he's like kind of mustache twirling here, and it's like,
No, I
He's a
buy
bit
it in this scene because he probably has confidence. Like he has a good relationship with Charles, right? And he remembers, I guess, the first time they came here and they were kind of playful there. I feel like he's being similarly playful here, where he's saying whenever Charles is like saying to control Jean.
yeah, I'm
not.
not even just talking about this scene specifically, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's generally a Machiavellian villain, I guess.
But
he always
in the first movie, it felt like he wasn't. Towards the end of the second
that
one, he
is
definitely
true.
did. Like, it is a very big.
He feels
escalation.
very opportunistic.
Kill
is
the
what I would
fucking
say.
humans, all of them. That was crazy.
Like when he gets the chance there, he uses his opportunity to kind of turn on the humans. And here, when he has the chance to like, even though he lost his friend, he makes good of the opportunity and like takes control of the Phoenix here. So he's very opportunistic, I guess, more so than Machiavellian. Like I don't think he came here and planned to like have Jean kill Charles and her to work under him or anything.
Doesn't Jean Grey fucking suck in this movie? Why is she just standing around doing nothing? They could have gave her a personality at least, even if you make her super duper evil.
Well, they did give her a bit of a personality, which is that she wanted to have sex with Logan that one time. So it's
yeah,
but
weird, she's never like that again. She's like, stay out of my head.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Phoenix is the weakest part of this movie.
Did they really fuck it up again? What do you think they do next time? I didn't watch that movie.
Well, apparently it's worse, so I don't know.
Sophie Turner's cool though. I like Sophie Turner.
That movie had a cool scene I've seen on YouTube, which is like the Quicksilver saving them from the mansion or something. Was that another movie? I don't know. It was cool,
Oh, I
whatever
think
it was.
that's in. Oh, doesn't he? Is he only in Apocalypse? I was gonna say
Oh,
because I feel
maybe it
like
is
he's in.
Apocalypse. I think it is.
He's that one is definitely in Apocalypse, but I feel like he has. He's. I don't think he's in Days of Future Past, right?
That isn't. No, I was gonna say, isn't that the one where they have that is the one where they have the scene,
Also, isn't
right?
there like a kid and then that girl just have Quicksilver's powers? What the fuck's up with that?
Oh yeah, true. She's not as fast, okay, or something. And there were
But she
multiple. Like
also
we
has
saw
that
another
power.
teleporter guy, right? Like he like puffed into
Yeah,
smoke in one
yeah.
scene.
It's funny. Like
They have one effect, and
as
they
a
just want to
concept, this is
maximize
like
it.
the stupidest. Like they're evolutionarily made to use fire. Makes
Yep.
sense, brother.
Yep.
Makes sense. It's
Absolutely.
so stupid, EliteAri. At least like with quirks, it's like it just.
It's just
I
a
guess quirks
thing.
is the same thing,
Yeah, they
but it's
explain
an
it later
anime,
on.
and anime's dumb. This is in live action and shouldn't be dumb.
But then you ask all the comic book fans, and they have a great explanation for all of this, Kyle. That makes perfect sense. So, and we're just not
It's
in the
even
know.
stupider when it's in a whole universe where people just get powers a bunch of random ways.
Yep.
But I'll forgive them. The
It is. They
Fantastic Four
were.
went into space,
We
bro.
actually we didn't
Lamau.
mention this at all, but they were talking a bunch about the Registration Act or whatever, which is obviously a thing that happens later in the Avengers movies with
The
the whole
mutant
what do they
registration act.
call it in
True.
the Avengers thing? Do you remember?
It's
The
something
Oh, the
initiative or
Sokovian
something. No?
Accords. That's right.
Oh
The
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
The
yeah.
initiative is the Avengers initiative, Illyria. That's a different thing.
Right, right, yes. So it's kind of funny to see there's like it's obviously a Marvel concept that's existed in the comic books and they're just adapting it two different ways, I'm guessing. Like I would
Do
assume
you
this is the
think with the
exact same
people that
thing.
stub their toes, you should be able to know if they live next door on some sort of registry act?
That's an interesting question. Maybe actually. Maybe that would be interesting. I don't know.
Like they're sex offenders or something, Illyria? You think they're equivalent to that just by existing? You fucking piece of shit.
I guess it is a good question. I'm not sure. I'll think about this, Kyle. But yeah, you know what? We should probably have a sit-down discussion with the nominated representative of both sides, and I'm the president. I'm sitting down at that over weeks.
Well, they're not going to like it because everybody's going to spit on them when they walk down the street, EliteAri.
Yeah, but that's when you threaten them with the military and be like, the humans.
People have got a right to privacy in this country, EliteAri.
True, and Charles Xavier is breaching that privacy by using Cerebro
He
in their
is.
mind.
He
We
is.
hate him. He's a villain.
Cerebro.
Yeah. Anyway.
Isn't it cool? It's in like a room. It's like a orb.
It is kind of cool. Isn't it crazy how they break into it twice? Oh my gosh. But more pertinent to what we were currently discussing.
Remember in
about,
the second movie where like Nightcrawler's whole arc is about faith and stuff? Wasn't that stupid?
did he have an arc? I don't remember. He
was like Storm has to tell him like, oh, we just gotta believe in. No, he's telling Storm that she should believe in stuff because sometimes Storm, EliteAri, she's like trying to become Magneto. She's gone a little radical where she's like, I do hate humans. And I'm like, oh, cool. Storm's so cool.
I took that more as like she wants to be accepted for herself. Like she wants to be who she is.
Yeah, well, that's why she hates them, EliteAri, and she's gonna kill them all.
Well,
But,
she said sometimes, right? She doesn't say like she hates them all the time. She was honest.
We're talking about Nightcrawler right now, EliteAri. Nobody cares about
go ahead.
Storm.
Yeah.
And he's like, because he's like a Christian and stuff. He lives in a church and stuff, and he looks like Satan, so that's funny. Now, but then he's like, I just gotta believe in you, and we can make it through the door that way. Isn't that such like an old movie thing? All these idiots just being like, you should just have faith, and then we'll win. Isn't that stupid, EliteAri?
But it's true. That's how reality works, Carl. You need to believe in something to make it reality. That's just how it is.
But yeah, if I believe I'm gonna teleport through the door, EliteAri, I'm never gonna do it. I'm never gonna be able to do the Kamehameha. I believe I power up in the shower every time, and I do the hand motion, and I whisper it because I don't want anybody to hear me, and I say the words.
You just need to keep trying, basically.
I need to scream the words.
Yep. You need to hear Storm in your mind saying that you can do it, and then it'll happen.
Oh, if Halle Berry wants me to do it, EliteAri, I'll do anything. I don't care if she's like.
But Kyle, back to my actual point here.
No.
One half of the point was about how like he was like Charles, and it was like so sad when his friend died, or like didn't want it to happen. The other element is when the guy's like, I would have even killed the professor if you'd asked me to, and he's like, he puts him aside and is like, Charles Xavier did more for mutants than you will ever know, and my regret is that he died or whatever. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is great. This is a
Pyro
friendship.
a little too evil, too quickly. That's not too fun.
That wasn't quickly. It was over years. We have a new president at this point, right?
Oh, but we're not talking about that, EliteAri. I'm talking about satisfying writing here, not logic.
Right. No, I bought it. I was like, oh, I guess he like.
It did work. I think I was scared. I think I thought he got recast in the third one or something. That was like a memory I had, but that wasn't true. So I was happy about that. And then he does get one scene with the Iceman before he fights him at the end, which was okay. And they do the DBZ standoff, epic, Lamau.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. It could have been a little cooler if he was a little less evil.
Can you imagine how much it would suck to have an ability that relies on like having to have fire around you?
Yeah, he can't make it,
God.
EliteAri. He's a little pussy.
Yeah,
But
I'd
he's
be
still
so
a class
annoyed.
4 somehow. That's crazy.
Because fire is dangerous. But ice is like so
If
much more dangerous, my goodness. You can freeze people to death. Oh my god, like instantly.
No,
Remember when he
ice isn't
froze the
scary,
lake
bro.
and they skated on it? That was the coolest thing ever. I wish I could do that.
He was
Oh my god.
cheating
It
with
was
Ellie
cool.
from The Last of Us.
It was still cool regardless, okay? Anyway. Split
Apparently
personality
that
bad.
the trans boy EliteAri, he said that this director used to make comments about his sexuality all the time, and they think that was bad. So he's also bad, just like the pedophile guy.
Wait, oh, this okay. I thought you were talking about the other director. You're saying that this newest director.
Yeah,
Well, isn't
they're
that
all
just
bad
great?
guys,
Okay. What about I wondered wait, who directs the like who did like First Class and who did like the more recent like
I think that's a different one because then we get the pedophile guy back. Hold on, I'll look this
great.
up while you talk about your next stop point.
Okay, I'm just gonna quote some great lines. I have 2 lines. I said, don't you know who I am? I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. Coolest line ever.
It's the greatest line of all time. How
and
dare
then-
people think it's so bad it's good? It's actually just great.
It is actually just great. But there's also the there's a few lines throughout this whole movie. I didn't write them all. The other one I wrote was when they're in the final fight and like Logan and Wolf and Beast are like talking to each other. And they're like, I thought you were a diplomat. Then it's like, as Churchill said, there comes the time when, and then he like starts fighting. It's like, oh, you get the point. And like this.
Every
is
man
great.
has to. Yeah, it's cool, bro. Sometimes you just got to be a mongoloid man.
Right.
There's oh there was some a thing that happened where I was gonna say something about something you just said, EliteAri, but it was the thing before the thing you just said. So what was the thing you said before you just said? So you can remind
I'm the
me so I
Juggernaut,
can think.
bitch.
Juggernaut.
And then I
lines.
said, so you know, there's
Final
a bunch
Battle
of funny
Beast.
lines throughout this entire movie, and
Funny
oh my God.
lines. Beast Wolverine. I'm never gonna remember.
Churchill, I thought you were a diplomat. Anyway, well, I have one other line, which is what we've briefly mentioned before. Magneto says, "What have I done?" And it's way too like it happens way too quickly, and it feels very unearned. And it's like, oh, why now that he's suddenly a human, he realizes his mistakes? I don't know. It was a bit weak. Didn't like it.
All right, EliteAri, it's time for the director's check. I've just opened all the movies in tabs.
Excellent.
Oh my god! Every time I click on one of these open tabs, am I going to get the letterbox help us and support us? Kill yourself, letterbox. How about that one? Gavin Hood does the X-Men Origins Wolverine. He did Ender's Game, crazy, and nothing else that it looks like. So this is just a new fella.
Okay.
Now, if you recall, EliteAri, David Benioff or one of the Game of Thrones guys has a writing credit on this movie, and everybody decided to point that out when the show got bad because they hired the guy that made X-Men Origins Wolverine and thought Game of Thrones was going to be good. Retards. Then the next one, we got a new one for X-Men First Class, EliteAri, Matthew Vaughn, and he did Kick-Ass. I watched that movie when I was like 9. That was one of the times, EliteAri. There was a girl that nearly had boobs out in that one.
I haven't seen it, but I think
I watched it when I was a little boy.
About.
It was very violent because I watched this when I was like a 10 at like a sleepover. It was crazy.
All right, well there goes Kyle again. That's crazy. He just disappears sometimes like that. We love it.
So I was talking about boobies and how he only made X-Men First Class, right?
Yep.
And he made Kingsman. The Kingsman.
Wait, which one made Kingsman? The First Class guy.
Yes.
Wait, what does it say? What year the Kingsman was?
Yes, he made all of them. It looks like.
Oh wow, that's kind of cool.
2014,
This is like
2017, and 2021. I've never seen any of these, and he made Argyle. That's a movie I saw trailers for earlier this year. Obviously this one's the best one, but he didn't come back, so he just did too good. We got a new one for the Wolverine, EliteAri, James Mangold. Wait,
I've
I
heard
just said
name.
that. No,
I've definitely.
He made Logan, EliteAri. He made Logan too.
Okay.
This is crazy. And he also made Girl Interrupted. Ford versus Ferrari, that's one. Oh my god, the Indiana Jones movie that came out last year.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of as well. Yeah. Is he doing the Obi-Wan movie? No, maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else. Not the Obi-Wan, sorry. The
Letterboxd does have future ones. Star Wars Dawn of the Jedi. Oh my god, he's doing that.
Of, yeah.
Whatever that is. Then we go into Days of Future Past, of course, and I think the pedophile's back. He is EliteAri, Bryan Singer, everybody's favorite.
What year was that? When did that come out? Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know nothing about him, so maybe
I know 2014 because it came out the same year as Guardians and The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and I remember every YouTube reviewer would be like, in a year of great superhero movies where we got the great Days of Future Past and Guardians of the Galaxy and The Winter Soldier, this shit Spider-Man movie came out, and EliteAri, I was going to box him. I was going to throw fists. Obviously Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2 was the best one. Winter Soldier is like the greatest movie I ever saw in a theater, though. But not as good as Spider-Man. Nothing is as good as Spider-Man. Then we got the great X-Men Apocalypse by the pedophile dude. Crazy. Now we've got Logan the next year. This is crazy. And that's the guy we just talked about. And then Dark Phoenix. Who did this one? Oh, Letterboxd wants to sell me something. How about you fucking Simon Kinberg? Who the fuck
I've
are
heard
you?
that. That's a famous
He's
guy.
only done one other movie, The 355. Do you think he did a TV show that you like or something?
Yeah, I think it can't be the Walking Dead guy, right?
He wrote and produced a number of the 20th Century Fox X-Men films that has also, so I guess he wrote a bunch of them and then directed the last one. That's weird.
Something about
his
Star
directorial
Wars?
debut in this.
It's a name I recognize very well for some reason. I don't know. Crazy.
Are you just thinking about the Hindenburg leader? You're
No,
a big
no,
dummy.
this guy, Simon Kinberg.
Wait, there's also New Mutants leader. Who did that one? And I didn't look up Deadpool because that's like a different guy, I think.
Crazy.
New Mutants 2020. Hold on. Josh Boone. That's a silly name. He did The Fault in Our Stars. Crazy. The girls love that movie, Leary.
All right, amazing. Any other movies?
Nope, that's all the directors, Leary.
All right, perfect. So my last two notes on this movie, I said the movie felt real quick, just flew right by. Yep.
Oh, yes, it feels like too quick, this fucking X-Men movie.
And then I said, what an end. Magneto moves the little piece. Crazy. I thought it was more ambiguous, Kyle, back in the day, but no, it was very clear. He definitely moves that piece a little bit.
He's getting his powers back.
You know
we
what?
can do a sequel if we want.
It was a good cut. They cut it at the perfect moment. There was no like little wobble. It's just like as soon as it moves a little bit, the movie cuts. And I go, "This is good. I like it."
Now, Leadery, everything I've ever learned from YouTube criticism would tell me that this is the worst writing moment in history of life because you build up this movie with all this stakes, and then there's a great moment when he gets stabbed, and you're like, "Oh my god!" Now, Leadery, I remembered this, and I was like, "It would be crazy if Magneto got stabbed with the cure. Like, what a great conflict that would be if we did Logan, but it's called Magneto, and it's the next movie of him being depressed that he can't move shit. What a great movie that would be.
You could still do that.
But I remembered that, I'm pretty sure he's in Days of Future Past and he's using metal and stuff. So I was like, he obviously doesn't get stabbed. And then he got stabbed, Leadery, and I was like, oh.
He was stabbed 4 times.
And then I think I remembered, I think at the end he moves it and he gets his powers back. And then that did happen, so that was crazy.
I don't know about timelines, but there is time clearly where he's in the chess place outside. Like there is a period of his life where he hasn't had powers. Like we don't know how long he had that period.
We don't see that, Leary.
Well, no, what I'm saying is you could do a movie between. You can't now, obviously.
Oh, you could do it in that interim period.
Yeah, you definitely do a movie between that.
Having the payoff should be that he dies sad that he doesn't have his powers, not that he gets them back.
Why? Maybe you could have a really interesting story where he doesn't have them. Yeah, like when he gets them back.
And then in the climax, he gets him back and soy, and then he
could be better.
Shut up, Elitery. He's sad and he's in a room. That's the movie.
Well, he's not in a room.
Now,
anyway.
He's supposed to be, and you're supposed to build up stakes and stuff in Elitery, and then they just undermined it. But shut up, Elitery. It's dumb YouTube criticism. I'm repeating it to you to make you mad. Shut up. But Elitery, then I was walking, and like the moment of him getting stabbed and realizing it is a good enough character moment to justify all of this.
True.
And also, it's kind of interesting because is Rogue's power going to come back and she's going to be sad because the cure doesn't actually work? And that's a cool implication.
And more importantly, Mystique's power.
Oh, Illyri. And in the Magneto movie where he has no powers and he gets him back at the end, like you greatly suggested, Mystique's the villain because she's going to hunt this motherfucker down. Oh, genius. Greatest movie of all time.
Oh my gosh. Remember that line where they're like, there's nothing as bad as a woman's scorn or something? It's like, oh boy.
Oh, yes, because bitches be crazy, Illyri, and this is 2006.
That was funny, yeah.
It is funny, Illyri. Feminism happened.
Yep. We love it.
We woke it up for real.
Yep.
Epic.
That's it for this movie. I have a few miscellaneous notes, but you got anything else for X3?
Let's think about all the great things. There was a great action scene where Wolverine is in the forest. There was and then there was a multi-man fake out, and he just, I don't know, why didn't they just shoot the one guy? That would have been funny.
Yeah, definitely should have. They probably did, you know.
I don't think we see that guy again, so that was funny. Magneto says we'll let the pawns go first, and the kind of funny guy said this was disgusting.
I like that. That was cool.
And I was like, but then when I thought that, I initially thought like them, and then I remembered, I was like, didn't he do something like this in one of the other movies? And I was like,
Rogue, yeah.
No, it wasn't that. It was something else because I thought about that, but I can't remember it. Maybe I made it up. So I was like, oh no, it fits.
Mm-hmm. Remember when Jean disassembles the gun and like almost shoots Magneto with it? Is freaking out for a minute. That was sick.
Yes, true. And obviously that was a tease from actually getting shot later. But I was just like, he's not going to get shot, movie. You're not going to trick me.
Mm-hmm.
But
All
yeah, it
right.
was a little fast. And then Wolverine fought the Juggernaut for a bit, and he threw him through the house, and that was pretty cool. The
Yep.
massive, massive American suburban house. Um,
Yeah, I'll have to go back and see
we've
that.
got yeah, and then Wolverine sees, and Patrick Stewart has been real mean to Wolverine all movie for no reason, and then like they
Hmm.
have a nice moment before he dies, so that was cool. And I
Yep.
remember thinking like Scott has like one scene, and then he rides off, and I'm like, there's no way he's gonna like that was the last scene we got with him. Like he has to have like a cool scene before he leaves, but nope, he
Yeah, he
was
gets
just
to
leaving
open
to
his
die.
eyes. That was really cool. It's like, oh, look at this.
And he's just shot into like the water. Literally, the water is the haunted water is the scariest thing of all time. Of course, you know my great fear that Lugia, the great
Right.
Pokemon, is just underneath you, like in that one, the second Pokemon movie, and it's just a shadow, and you're looking down. You're lost at sea, Elitari, stranded, and you're thinking,
Hmm.
"Oh no, shark's gonna come get me." That's your dumb mind. No, Elitari, massive sea beast is gonna be underneath you and come up and like swallow you whole or something. Crazy scary, and you can't even run like if a big land monster comes
Right.
because you're in the water and you got to swim. But Elitari, what if it's like a crazy like witch lady and that's the scariest thing of all time. Epic.
Not.
So
Yeah.
cool.
Doesn't scare me at all. I don't know. I don't have this big fear of the ocean. I don't have this fear of the scary witch lady.
I like
However,
to point out, Elitari, that I'm a great Australian. I can swim
right,
the
right.
greatest of all time. And so it's not that.
Well, I
But
watched the
the
first
ocean,
3 minutes of that witch movie and it scared me. So I don't know.
Oh yeah, we gotta watch that one day,
But
Elitari.
also, I have a question, Kyle. So we're gonna speculate wildly here. So when Cyclops takes his sunglasses, also why is he wearing sunglasses in this and not the? Did they destroy the helmet? I don't
He's
remember.
always been wearing the sunglasses in all of them.
No, but he had that weird visor thing that had like a little
That's
like.
only when he goes into fight.
Oh, so he didn't go to fight here. That makes sense. Okay. So
Oh, Leary, remember, you'll
okay.
remember. I got to interrupt you and
Yes,
say my
please
thing.
go ahead.
Remember when Charles Xavier he senses this and there's this awesome dramatic thing where he turns to Storm and Wolverine and goes, "Yo, get to Alkali Lake," and then
Yeah,
they
that
run
was
off.
sick.
That was the
Yep.
greatest thing of all time. Just
And
thought
remember
we
how
would
they
mention that.
also in that lesson when he's talking about the philosophy stuff about inserting your mind into someone unconscious's body and it comes back in the post-credit scene. Oh my gosh.
True, that's true.
Yep.
It's also kind of cool. You know, it gets to the end because it feels like a trilogy thingy because it's like feels like it's been a long time. Because when Storm and Wolverine see each other in the third movie, I'm like, oh, look at these old friends, the great Storm and
Yeah,
Wolverine. Am I cutting out a leader because they just went red on
a
my
little bit,
Discord for a
but
second?
it's fine.
The great Storm and Wolverine, Illyri. They saw each other and they hugged or something. I was like, oh, these old pals. You know, that's the type of stuff you can only get from long form storytelling.
Yep.
Oh, it's just
Spanning
epic
9
stuff.
years.
And they were like the last two. It was crazy. And then
Mm.
remember when she's like, next time you better actually kill Jean. And then later she's like a little conflicted when he goes to kill Jean, and that didn't make any sense. This third movie's a little weird sometimes.
All right. So back to what I was saying, Kyle, our wild
Mhm.
speculation that I need your opinion on. So when Cyclops takes off his sunglasses and the power is suppressed and he can like open his eyes, do you think Jean or Phoenix in that moment, is she using mental stuff to mentally block off the power, or is it a physical, like using the telekinetic stuff to kind of force it back so that it just doesn't come out? What do you think?
Well, isn't the implication that she like forces it back into his fucking brain and that's how he died?
No, I just assumed that she like
Oh, he
killed
probably
him
just
with
got
the big power.
particleized like
Yeah.
everybody else.
Yep.
Nah, his fucking head split open, bro. No, that's why there's no body,
Mm.
because he got particleized. So I don't know, Elitari. Who cares? Neither one
I
of those
care.
pals.
And I'm going with she just like pushed it back into his eyes and eventually turned off because she was too strong. So there we go.
Scott.
All right, I got one more miscellaneous note, which is Kyle detests the incessant need to show us Mystique is Mystique all the time, every time. They need to make her eyes glow or something, and so we know it's her, or we need to like at the end of the scene just have her revert to the blue skin. It's just like they think we're kids, even though we probably are kids when we're watching it. But
there's no way that's the one thing you're like, they're insulting our intelligence with this.
They are every single time. They're like, oh, we better flash the eyes so that we know it's Mystique here.
There's so much stuff like that in these movies, though.
Nope, this is the one thing where I'm like, okay, I get it. It's Mystique. It's the most obvious thing. She can transform. Someone's out of character right now. It's Mystique. It's obvious. So yeah, I don't like it.
You know, chat, I stopped listening to EliteAri for a little bit, and then I was thinking, you know, this EliteAri guy, you know, he never takes the bait when I'm trying to bring up like YouTube criticism stuff and getting mad at it. Now, it's funny because EliteAri, I always say this, you know, he's got some things where he just doesn't have the grounding the rest of us do. He wasn't entrenched in this silly YouTube nonsense. He didn't believe that all these things were bad at any point. Because EliteAri, sometimes I'm watching these movies, and it happened a lot in these silly movies where I was like, my first initial like gut instinct is to dislike them for those silly YouTube reasons, and then I have to correct myself. Now I've got it down to a science, Leroy. I can correct myself in literally a millisecond.
Well done.
But it always registers first, and then I'm just like, how does EliteAri experience these movies? without having that experience internally. And then I'm just like,
I feel like I'm like
we're
the
just not
majority of
in the same
people who
thought.
you just watch things. I
Yes,
don't
of
know.
course, EliteAri, but not the majority of people watching this. Listen, that's the mill of the killer thought. That first little thought that I autocorrect, that's the mill of the killer's every thought.
Right.
Now, it's just funny. It's just like, oh, different contexts and stuff for different people and stuff. And because sometimes EliteAri, when I first discovered EliteAri and we were just doing black sales and we both loved it, I'm like, EliteAri has like the same mental process as me. That's why we're just so smart. And we just agree on everything, and we just love the same things. But the more I learn, the more I figure out that we're very different. So
yeah. So please comment down below which of us is better. Which of us has a better mental process?
Well, EliteAri is definitely better, but that's like the annoying thing.
Oh, am I? Okay, I'll take it.
Like, he doesn't have the buy. It's like EliteAri just started at the top of the mountain. He didn't have to climb up here. But, that means he never, like, accidentally slips back down the mountain sometimes.
Right.
And it's just like, But also, I don't respect it because he didn't go through the hard journey. So I'm actually the
So you,
the
Kyle,
better one.
you have two different perspectives when you're watching something. It's very unique. You have your own, and then you have the voices in your head that are telling you it's bad. And then you can
I have silly instinct and then correcting instinct.
Yeah.
But that's not really how it works. It's not like, how you just think about a million things and you can't really put it in a timescape, EliteAri? Like, you'll have a million thoughts or you'll remember a memory in an instant rather than like, oh, it takes like 2 seconds to register and stuff. So it doesn't happen where it's like, oh, I have the thought and then like I have to calm down for 3 seconds and then, oh, now I've corrected myself. It just happens instantaneously when I like observe both things and then I'm like correcting that. So, I'm just a genius, I think is what I'm trying to say.
That's great, Kyle. That's all my notes.
But also not. I don't know. It's an interesting thing. I think about it a lot.
I think the same thing when I'm watching movies in the theaters these days, MCU movies, for instance. I always think about, what would Eric Whiteley think in this situation?
I shut the fuck up, EliteAri. I was just going to say, sometimes I get the same feeling with Eric Whiteley, but then sometimes he does say some silly things, and it's like, well, that was a little crazy. Why did he say that silly thing? But he's not silly all the other times. And, sometimes you're just thinking about these things.
For anyone listening right now, Eric Whiteley is a member of the Blind Wave YouTube
channel,
which is
Wave.
a reaction
Everybody
channel.
salute.
Yep.
You know who I don't get that thought about, EliteAri? All the normies. Bunch of idiots.
True. Yep. All right. Anything else, Kyle?
We kind of like X-Men, I think.
Yeah, I think it's
EliteAri likes it a little more than me, maybe.
It's surprisingly held up, which I wasn't expecting it to. Yeah.
Not if you listen to those kind of funny fellas. They said they're disgustingly dated and terrible. I would think it would be funny if EliteAri watched like one of them. I wonder if he would just be mad and turn it off, or if he would think their banter was funny. Probably not, huh? He likes like H3 and stuff.
Yeah, H3 is great. We love him.
Are you going to do that? Are you going to watch their first review for us, EliteAri, and come back and report back next time? Nope. Speaking of next time, what a great transition. Are we doing it next time, EliteAri? How do we break this down?
I don't think we're... Okay, let me think. Wait, let me get a list of movies up. So, X-Men
So,
movies.
hold on. I got the list up, EliteAri. The next 3 that come out in order is X-Men Origins Wolverine, First Class, and then The Wolverine.
But then there's also like there is 0% chance I'm ever watching The Wolverine again. That was one of the most boring movies I remember watching.
Well, who am I going to get to watch it with me? Because I got to watch them all now.
Well, you can go ahead. I'm not watching The Wolverine. I don't know. The only one I think I said this initially when I proposed it to you. The only one I'm really interested in is Logan, because it's been a while since I watched that.
But don't you like X-Men Origins Wolverine?
I do, but I remember it enough where I'm like, I feel like I don't need to watch it again.
Yeah, I don't remember anything. Am I really going to do this by myself?
I guess. I don't know.
Because I have to do it.
Well, it depends. How interested are you in Logan eventually? You haven't seen it, right?
Well, very much, because that's the one everybody likes, and I've never seen it.
Yeah, so then what are your requirements? What do you have to watch before you watch it, you think?
No, I would definitely watch them all in order.
Well, even the ones Wolverine isn't in?
Yeah, because I'm more curious. Again, I watched a bit of that Wolverine movie, and that is the one I'm least interested in watching. But like, I definitely want to watch First Class again. That's like one of my favorite movies when I was a little kid. And by a little kid, I mean like 14.
Well, we'll have to see.
Don't worry, Chad. I'll try and convince him. Oh, we'll have to see the. What if we get 1 million views on this and everybody comment down below? Tell EliteAri he's a little pussy. And he's gonna do
okay, you know what? If we get 1,000 views on this video, then yeah, sure, I'll watch all the movies. But I don't know about that.
What if we get 10 comments pleading, and I can't use any of my accounts? I
mean, yeah, if we got like 10 comments who aren't us, then yeah, I would do it. But I don't think we're getting 10 comments. It's like a crazy. Oh my god.
I don't know. X-Men's kind of cool, EliteAri. A lot of people will probably see.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
We're gonna do it. I want to win tonight, but I'm not going because we won't. It won't.
So Kyle's cutting out right now, but it's okay, guys. He's basically saying that he would watch it tonight. But,
I'm gonna watch them all. I'm gonna do them all.
Yeah, perfect. All right. So thanks for listening, guys.
Are you back next time with a Rock Die Buster? Who knows?
Yep, we'll see. We'll probably be back eventually. So, wait, what is the next thing?
Back for
Go to
Chainsaw Man.
secondary ENT. The latest Chainsaw Man discussion is going to be there very soon, I'm sure.
It's fucking tomorrow, isn't it? God damn.
Yep. See you later. Bye.